Welcome to the BAAS Entertainment Podcast, hosted by Troy Saunders. Sit back and relax as I bring you the best in indie, soul, jazz, house, inspirational, and so much more. Tonight's special guest is Shawn Rivera. You might remember him as a member of the great group, Grammy-nominated group, As Yet. They had hit songs like Last Night and the Grammy-nominated Hard to Say I'm Sorry. Tonight, I'm going to feature snippets of each song off of his new album, Shawn Rivera. As we peruse through this wonderful body of work, we will also touch on his 30-year-plus career in the music industry, plus collaborative efforts with the one and only Miss Maya Angelou, and his membership in the Philadelphia-based group, Philarico. This episode is as informative as it is entertaining. BAAS Entertainment, listening experiences for the indie artist aficionado. Hey everybody, welcome to the BAAS Entertainment Podcast. Live and in color here. Now you can see my face. Yes, I'm Troy Saunders, the host of the BAAS Entertainment Podcast. And you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring you the best in indie, soul, jazz, house, inspirational, and so much more. Today, we got a brother that is so bad. He's a writer, producer, arranger, singer, songwriter. I mean, the brother does it all. Anything music, he has it. The music just flows through his veins like water. And he was a member of the great band, the boy band, As Yet, and the a cappella singing self with the 5-part harmony. Now he's a solo artist as well as part of another group that we're going to get to. But you're going to remember him from this song right here. You know this one, Last Night. This was 1996, something like that. I think I was 30 years old. I know I'm telling my age, but that's all right. Y'all know that was a jam back in the day. Yeah. If you wasn't having babies on that, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce to you all the incredible Mr. Shawn Rivera. Come on in the room, Shawn. Come on in the room. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Now, when you listen to that song, what kind of memories did that bring up for you?
I mean, it's bittersweet, mostly sweet, but you know, it's not all glamour and lights. But the first thing that comes to mind when I hear that song is how many people to this day, 30 years later, I mean, this is the 30th anniversary of Last Night going #1. And, you know, that song became an instant classic, a #1 Billboard R&B classic, a platinum single off the Nutty Professor. I think about all the wonderful people I got to collaborate with and meet with, people that I look up to, people who are still friends to this day. I mean, and the struggle that went into getting that far, and the things that could have went further. You know, it's a whole hodgepodge of mixed emotions, but no regrets. You know, it's a beautiful thing. I'd do it again.
My question is, now, we always talk about finance. I mean, I'm jumping right into it. We always talk about financial stuff. Do you still reap any type of benefits from that song? Are you still
Yes.
getting any royalties, shall we say?
Yes. For those who want to get into the weeds of it, right? Obviously, the writers, which is Babyface and Keith Andes. Shout out to Keith Andes as well, the unsung hero of that song. Um, they receive the bulk of the royalties from publishing and writers. But as an artist, there are performance royalties that still come. I can buy an extra sandwich or get a haircut, or but those things add up when you have a lot of different songs scattered around. Even if you are an artist out there who, at this point, still don't know, register with Sound Exchange to get your performance royalties on anything that you have sang or performed on that you are properly credited for. There's a chunk of change left over for you, and a lot of people haven't even collected their royalties yet. But yeah, thank you for the 0.001 cents for spinning it just now. I was all singing along.
Go, well, every bit counts, and once it adds up, let's tell everybody right now that you're listening. If you're listening, go on and play it, so we can get a couple more pennies in there.
Got kids to feed. Got kids to feed.
Right? So now, you were born and raised in Philadelphia. Now I know a lot of people know you've been on a few podcasts, so I know people that follow you probably heard this story over and over again. So we're gonna do the abridged version, so we can get to the listening party.
Exactly. I was 9 pounds 7 ounces. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, born and raised in Philadelphia, sang in gospel choir, University of the Arts, got a full scholarship for jazz voice before signing with LaFace Records. As Yet was known as As Yet Untitled, and we sang in street corners and worked our way for 6 years to get ourselves to get the attention of some folks in Los Angeles who connected us with Babyface, our former management, who are no longer with us, Jacqueline McQuarn and Michael McQuarn. So coming up in Philly, everybody sang. I mean, it was just like those movies where you see folks singing on the street corners and all that. That was the era we came up in. And, everything that you could think of would influence us. We wanted to be like Take Six. We listened to everything from Stevie Wonder and Commission to, the sound of Philadelphia, the Teddy Pendergrass, or artists like Marvin Gaye. I mean, we can go on and do this all night, but a lot of the classics that you play on your show were part of our formative years. And I say us because, I did my own things. I'm always, got a lot of side quests going on, but obviously a lot of people know us from the As Yet days, and that definitely set the foundation for everything I do going forward.
Yeah. And you were also legally blind.
Yes, I've had several surgeries on my eyes. Like my mother, she gifted me insight. We have congenital conditions. I've had ocular implants on both eyes, radial keratotomy to correct astigmatism, and of course cataract surgery that usually people don't get until they're much older. But for about 19 years, like right before we signed the record deal, I could only see about 6 inches in front of my face, and then everything kind of blurred out after that. So I would sit in the front of the class and listen to everything. Like hearing became the thing, and I would take my book and read my nose to guide, across the pages. And the kind of neighborhoods that we grew up in, it was dangerous to be seen show any sign of weakness. So I didn't want to wear glasses. I tried it, and then it's like, okay, I feel crippled when I don't have them and all that other stuff. So I just, after a while, just said, you know what? Nobody has to know what's going on. But, if you look at some of my early pictures and childhood pictures, I'm like staring off over here where everybody else is posed. And I'm just like, I didn't know what was going on. Thank goodness LaFace actually paid for
That's not funny, but you
yeah, no, it is funny. When I look back, I cringe because I'm like, hello, I'm over here. Right? But I didn't know you had to look people in the eye when you talk to them. Like, I figure if I could hear you, I must be part of the conversation. And I'd be like, I could hear a room full of people and hear the distinct, separate conversations as like harmony, where like I could I'd be butting in on people's finishing their jokes and like jumping in, but I didn't realize, wait, they're not talking to me. And to this day, I try to stay away from too much activity at one time because I'm processing all this stuff. Walk down the street, my headphones on like this, even with the music not on. My wife cracks up because I come in the house and I'm like, dang, why is the TV so loud? And she's like, huh? What? But, it wasn't something that I didn't realize how much I couldn't see until I got the surgeries. And I'm like, dang, y'all got pores on your faces and like we got the popcorn ceiling. I thought it was smooth, it was just crazy. I don't take for granted that I'm able now to function fairly normally in society. But, at the time, all I wanted to do was keep my nose in the books, literally, and get out of I'll say it's a rough upbringing. If in Philadelphia during the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, it was more of like the crack era and heroin era, the last era where, you could fist fight and walk away, but it ain't like that no more.
I grew up in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is nowadays is not the Brooklyn it was in 1970s and 1980s. Mm-hmm. Okay, I go there, I'm like, where the hell am I? This ain't Brooklyn, Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing, Can't show any signs of weakness. Mm-hmm. But we was able to, like you say, fist fight and walk away with it. Yeah. Nobody was stabbing us and shooting us and stuff like they doing nowadays. But I think it was just a whole thing that was going on in the country at that time, especially in urban neighborhoods.
Yeah, well, I'm thankful to have been shot at, but not been shot. You know what I mean? I'm still breathing, can't complain. Every day, man, every day.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. We made it through.
Yes, indeed.
And we're still here.
Absolutely.
So, and matter of fact, I think I might have you by a couple of years. So,
yeah, If I did the math earlier. I say about 7 or 8. Somewhere is that one day you'll join the 50s, because I don't know, you jump back because I said, hold on a minute, didn't we go to high school together?
Yeah. It's funny you said that. That reminds me of I was in LA one time. I think it was when Shaka Khan was getting her star on Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I went out there to hang out and congratulate her and stuff. So I was there, and Nathan East was there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So he's sitting there, he's just standing out in the corner, hanging out, and I'm like, I know you from somewhere. I said, did we go to high school together?
Nice.
I said, what school did you go to? So and then I heard somebody say, hey, Mr. East, something. I said, oh, now I feel like an idiot.
But you know what?
He just started laughing.
Next time I see Shaka, I'm gonna say, "Hey, didn't we go to high school together?"
And she was like, "Motherfucker, we ain't go to high school together."
Right? Yeah, she was keeping real.
Okay. Oh man. So these folks that you started As Yet with, y'all didn't go to high school together, but y'all were in high school at the same time.
Well, yes and no. Unlike Boyz II Men, Boyz II Men all went to high school together. We went to different high schools, but I was 4 years younger than the next closest member. So, I was still in high school when they were out of high school. And then we kind of roamed the streets. I said, literally, street corners, local talent shows, open mics. They bringing it back now with the open mic live bands where they just play whatever the top 40 is, and we would just get up there and do our thing. And then sometimes we'd actually kind of compete against each other. We're like, okay, Kenny would do a solo song and I'd do a solo song or whoever, and that sort of thing. And then when we would win these talent shows, we'd take a little prize money and use it to get some show clothes for the next show or get some cordless mics or whatever, batteries for the mics, whatever it was, and very resourceful. Like one of the guys in the group would stitch clothes, you know what I'm saying, try to design our little Star Trek looking outfits or whatever, it was dope. We weren't put together like a lot of these other groups were put together by the label. And Mark Nelson from our group was in Boyz II Men. He went to high school with them, and they were a little ahead of me at the time. And then after I got out of school, we had met with Babyface, but the members that we now know and love, some of those members were replaced, removed, and shuffled, and I was done. I said, you know what, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, and I went and got a full scholarship to University of the Arts, which is the same school that Stanley Clarke went to. It's a really prestigious school. They only let 2 people per major in per year on a scholarship, and somehow I walked in off the street with no formal training and my instincts, and walked out of there with a scholarship after much competition. And it was a beautiful feeling to be even recognized or acknowledged for something that just came instinctually to me. But then California came calling, and they had heard a demo that we'd recorded, and I took a leave of absence after a few semesters on the dean's list, and I was like really excited. The teachers, the professors, they said, look, we come out of here looking for work, and you got a record deal, you can always come back to school, but this type of opportunity won't come again. I mean, Babyface was the #1 writer in the country. To me, he'll always be the #1. As far as songwriting for mass consumption, it doesn't get any better than Babyface, and he was at the top of his game. At that particular moment, it was the right time to seize that opportunity. But no regrets, no regrets.
Yeah. And you know what? We talk about your vision, and I heard. I mean, I listened to the other podcasts and I must agree that I think it helped you in hearing the music. It helped you in picking out the parts and knowing when something is off and when something ain't right, and how to change the tone or to fit what's going on, because you have an extra sense of hearing than I heard somebody say. Oh, remember the cartoon Daredevil?
Oh, Matt Murdock up in his mug.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, right? I didn't know that everybody couldn't hear the same thing I was hearing. But one day, shout out to a good friend, Ali Hyman. I was in gospel choir. I'm hiding in the choir, trying not to be seen, because I just wanted to be in front of people and get over that feeling. I didn't really want to be in music like that. I had no desire whatsoever to be a performer or any of that. And this guy, Ali Hyman, he heard me singing and said, hey, I want you to join his group. And his group is called Dimension and Sound. And we're in his basement, and he puts on Take 6. And as soon as I heard it, I just froze. And I said, hold on a minute. I'm like, something told me that I wanted to do something like that, like whatever the music was making me feel. So I got into University of the Arts because the audition tape I sent them, I dissected Take 6 and recreated it on a double cassette. No charts, no nothing, just straight off the ear, and kind of made it my own version. And I was taking apart like Manhattan Transfer songs back in the day, anything that had that kind of intricate harmony. It just seemed to, like, I hear the spatial relationship between the notes. And then when I started hanging around live musicians, I'm like, wait, it's all the same thing. It's sounds that are coming from a feeling that is communicating something deeper than language alone could convey. And it lost something in the translation every time, which makes me feel like maybe just one more song. And it's like you're constantly striving for the essence of something that was never meant to be limited to just a word, or just like the song is pointing towards something. And everyone who hears music hears something different. And they might take it personal. Like they'll listen to the lyrics and it'll take on something meaningful, or a melody, with no lyrics might paint a picture in somebody's mind, and they'll see, flowers and trees, or the other person might think of like, seashores, or, and seashells with the same song. Only music can capture so many things in such a tight space of expression. I don't know. I wish I could. I wish I knew what I was talking about. Seriously.
No, but I know what you're talking about, because every person hears something differently. They don't have the. It also depends on life experiences, on how people feel it.
Suffering definitely makes the best music, and unfortunately, I wouldn't wish my life on anybody. I am not an aspirational figure. I look at the songs that move me. They come from some of the deepest pain, loss, angst, The type of things that, again, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And I can always tell whose lights are on by what they shine a light on, And sometimes it's not even in the lyric, it's just the depth of which they're coming from. You could feel it. You could feel it. Even if it's not in English, if I don't understand the language, I can still feel the ethos of it.
It's true. It's so true. Now, before you joined the gospel choir,
Yeah.
what was your musical taste before then?
Oh man, growing up in I'll say my formative years, right? I remember I used to dance for a hip hop group, right? There was a guy, back in the day how they had like all the rappers had like two dancers behind them, like Scoop and Scrap, So I was doing that. Like hip hop was like in Philadelphia. I'd go and get the cardboard boxes and get the windbreaker and start doing hand spins and suicides and flips and everything, So I think hip hop captured my energy first. But I grew up in a household where you could hear anything from salsa and merengue to Philly classic R&B. We had a station WMMR that played rock music. Like I feel like they're all different kind of musical languages. So unlike most people, where it's like, okay, every Sunday, you would hear, let's say, go to church and listen to just gospel music on Sunday. I would go to the record store looking for gospel music, trying to learn the runs. Like, let me go. I heard Clark Sisters got this unreleased, Japanese export. Let me find it. I was always looking for things that moved me. So before I started singing, I really, like I said, hip hop, R&B and soul, jazz, and jazz has evolved so much. And again, like just certain songs will capture my attention. But I've never been somebody to just, claim to be the ambassador of any particular genre. Like I have so many blind spots where I'm like, there's so much music I haven't heard, and every day I meet somebody that's like, how could you not have heard this song? So yeah, before that, I tried to sing when I was like 9 for like the boys club. They had a boys club choir, and you remember like "Shower Me with Your Love." I was trying to sing the song to the vinyl because the vinyl had the instrumental on the back. I'm wearing a vinyl right now, right? And I get up there and I'm singing my little heart out. I finished the song, and the choir director, Mr. Lang, God rest his soul, he said, "Son, I've been doing this a long time, and I know when somebody's got it. You, my friend, need to find something else to do." No joke. But it made me so mad because nobody tells me what I can and can't do. I'll show you.
That's a little Scorpio there.
Right? Oh, man. My wife says that all the time. It's like, once you stung your friend, right? But yeah, seriously, I actually think that if I hadn't been rejected so early, I wouldn't have revisited it because I'm like, well, what made me want to do it if I didn't think I could do it? And this person, told me I couldn't. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'll tell you what I can't do.
But were you still singing around the house and all that type of, even though he told you that?
Only when people left the house. See, I don't like attention on me. Like, it's not about like, hey, like, look at me. It was more about like a feeling comes over you and you hear a song and you want to sing along or like, and my mom bought me this little Casio keyboard, little PT1. It was like this big. And, I would listen to the commercials and try to play the little jingles, on the keyboard. And whenever, we were latchkey kids back then, like mom was out, doing what she needed to do to keep the bills paid. And dad was doing things that he definitely should not have done. So whenever I had the house to myself, I put the mirror on and, we get the VHS, right? I would try to learn the dance steps, like MC Hammer's steps and whatnot, and rewind every video from Soul Train and try to do the little steps and then sing for a little bit. And then as soon as they come home, like people would try to sneak in and peek and hear. And as soon as I knew they were listening, can't do it. To this day, it's like that. Like when I record, the only people in the room, like I record my own vocals, but when I'm working with other people, you have to kind of have a good relationship in order to be that vulnerable and to open the channel completely. It has to be unfiltered. So I was never down with those kind of sessions where you have like, a bunch of people around on couches smoking and drinking and making noise. Nope. nobody but the engineer, the musicians, and whoever's co-writing, producing. That's it. Leave your dog at home, leave your friends at home. We ain't here for all that. When it's time to
I
to
get it.
shoot a video, then we can act like we're having fun. But music is meant to be played, so there is some play and some fun involved. But again, yeah, I wanted to sing for the sake of singing, not to get attention or like become some kind of a famous person. And I wouldn't wish that on nobody either. Like your life is no longer yours. You're not allowed to have an
Yep.
opinion. I might get canceled before the end of this show.
You know, and then what do you do with yourself? You know,
Oh man, exactly,
right?
exactly.
It's funny because I was kind of like the same way. I loved singing, but I didn't like doing it in front of people. So my mother, especially my father, he was a good singer, and he used to do the 8 tracks,
Oh yeah,
and he would rewind it and he would do Marvin Gaye, the OJ's, he would do all their
nice,
parts and stuff.
nice.
And if he heard me doing it, what are you doing? All right, this is how you're supposed to do it. He was more like a taskmaster than,
Oh, you had Joe Jackson dad, as you say.
yeah. And I heard you saying that, you had the deep voice and then you had
Yeah,
the falsetto, but
yeah,
in the middle is where it cracks.
yeah. But the break,
And that's,
yeah,
yeah, and that's where I was at. I would crack. Like Stevie Wonder, his
yeah.
songs will always be in that middle part for me where I
Yeah,
would crack.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is I wasn't a tenor. Now, shout out to Kenny Terry from As Yet. That's you brought up a really intricate point. So, Kenny Terry was the bass of As Yet, and he's known for having this huge range. And he was the first person that I really saw executing that middle register, that head tone, to where it carried beltingly loud, but it seemed so effortless. And I would pick his brain, and just ask him questions. And then going to Stevie Wonder, when I got to California, there's a vocal teacher named Seth Riggs. And Seth Riggs teaches this technique called speech level singing, where you work your vocal tract in such a way that as you go up and you cover and pinch and blend, you can get up into the higher register without using your neck and your chest. And I was one of those kids that always used to copy voices and cartoons and all sorts of different things. And Kenny was the same way with singers. He could do any living, dead, male, female, it didn't matter. Like he just seemed to like lock into these sorts of things. So I'm happy to have been exposed to it from like a young age to see other people who I admired doing this sort of thing because it made me feel like it comes in handy when you're writing for other artists. But the hard part is when people tell you to pick a lane and they say, well, what is your sound? And I'm like, music is my sound. I am a sound of music. I'm just an instrument. However the song plays me is what you're going to get. If the character, like, it's like telling an actor, what's your character? Well, what does the script say? You know what I'm saying? But the script tells me what the character is. And then I get into the voice of the character of that. But I do admire a lot of singers who have a niche and they stay in that niche and they own it, Like you hear a Will Downing song or a Luther song, it's them, like right away.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a thing about having a niche, but then you take somebody like Shaka.
Yeah.
She sings anything and everything,
Oh
and
yeah.
it doesn't have to be the same music, but it's her.
Yes. Yes,
You know,
indeed. Yes,
she
indeed.
still has a niche, but it's her voice that's the niche.
Yes,
It's not.
indeed.
It's not really the music that's behind her.
Facts.
It's her voice that's it's her immediately.
Facts.
You
I
know.
love her new song. She got this song called Shockzilla. She knocking over the
Yeah.
buttons. I was like, you go, girl. I love it. I think it's adorable. It's cute and it's perfect for her. She's an icon, and
Yeah.
she's knocked over everything that ever stood in her way. So it's a perfect song for her.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love Shaka. That's my girl. Like ever since I was a little kid, 6 years old, I was sitting there with that Rufus Eyes album and just staring at it, Like, how does she do what she does?
Hmm.
And she was young then, and I was like, wow. I was
Oh
just
yeah.
enamored. To me, she was like somebody from around the block that could sing.
Hmm.
And as a little kid, I picked up on that. I said, she's like somebody's auntie, that could sing.
She's relatable and real. That's what I love about Shaka. Like for me, one of my favorite female artists when I was coming up, who kind of captured what I'm still aiming for, Rochelle Farrell.
Oh,
That and the range. I saw her live at the Theater of the Living Arts. This way before As Yet was even a thing, and her original records and the imports. And I'm watching. She's playing piano, and she's got the low sultry register, but she can get up in them whistle tones and expressive all the way through, and just boundary breaking. Like she's a unicorn. You know what I mean?
yes, she is. Yes, she is. It's funny. I was in Long Beach, California, and Sean Patterson was
Okay.
having his after hours release party.
Yeah.
And it was Rochelle Farrell, Layla Hathaway, Rashawn Patterson,
Yeah.
and Let Us See.
Oh Lord. All that, that's a dream team right there. That's a dream team.
You talk about singing. They had to turn the lights on because they were singing to 2 o'clock in the morning. Everything in California closed, in LA closes at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
They turned the lights on and said, all right, y'all got to get up out of here.
Every last one of them could do a 4-hour concert. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Every last one of
So
them.
you put them together. That was insanity.
Yeah,
Just
man.
insane.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's play a little bit of the Grammy, because wait a second. Before I go there,
Yeah.
you just remind me of we were talking about the voice and how you go from lower to the higher and without cracking, without in that middle spot. And I hear that on your new album. And we're going to get to that
Here we go. Fun times.
because you were hitting some notes up on that thing, and I'm like, and holding them, sustaining, and I'm like, Sean's singing his ass off.
By the way, there are people. I say there are those who. I say there's talk on these internet streets. They're like, when is he going to sing live? Y'all going to hear it because there's a tour coming this summer. So for all the doubters out there and all the supporters, please come out. And check it. We're going to hit up the UK. Shout out to Rebirth Collective for putting that together. We're going to be in Italy. We're going to be in the UK, and then coming back to the States and just keeping it going. But yes. It is a chameleon of a record, and there's a lot of different tones and voices and things. And it's been a fun ride. I was just going to put the record out as just something fun to listen to, but thanks to people like you, especially, who've just picked it up and been playing it, now I got to live up to it. Now I got to show up because I thought I was going to stay home and kind of be in my post-retirement phase, man. Now it's
Now when you put out something like that, I think everybody needs to hear that. What are you talking about?
I appreciate it.
Sean is singing. Let me tell you, Sean is singing. You know what I'm talking about? And you said these are songs you had for a while.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I get a lot of. I've been getting flack for it when I say being too honest, right? Because what happened was I'd recorded these records like 20 years ago. They're old records, but they were good songs, but the recordings weren't so great. So don't hate me, but I did use AI to redo the tracks and the music and like kind of flip the arrangements. But everything on the record is based on my original voice and a key and everything. The way that I sang it on the demo is what's up there. Is yes, it sounds better than it did back then, or I wouldn't have put it out. And it is what it is. Like I said, when you see it live and you hear it, you'll understand completely. It's not what people are doing where they just like, typing up a song and just throwing out whatever. I didn't steal nobody else's voice. There's, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. But people hear the word AI and they go, don't. But, I had a little help, and I'm not ashamed to say that. But I'm the one who produced it, put it out there. It's my songs written with a lot of fabulous musicians, by the way. A lot of great musicians. Shout out to Will Brock, the song that you reviewed, Hard Working Lady. He's worked with Jill Scott. He's worked with Mesa Leak, you name it. Like he's the one who brought me the original. We co-wrote it together. Like he had made the music and then worked with him. David P. Stevens, who's about to do. He's working with Frank McComb right now. I did that song "Get It Girl" with him, and again I recorded everything with real musicians, and then had an AI remix put together, mixed it and mastered it, in my living room, and people fell in love with it. So now I got to go out there, putting the band back together, working with some cats overseas to have, I don't know if you're familiar with Incognito. So I got some.
Is the fish head waterproof? What are you talking about?
Pardon now?
You said, yeah. I said it's a fish head waterproof. You said it's familiar with incognito.
So, listen. So I had some beautiful connections that came from this record and from my past works, including a couple of cats. Shout out to Francesco, drummer for Incognito. He's putting together a band for me as we speak. Not sure when this will air, but in July we're going to be out there in the UK opening for Frank McComb. Pretty excited about that. So, make a long story short, we could run through each song, and if you go, anybody who is just curious, go on to, Spotify or Apple Music and go into the credits, and you're gonna see a who's who of some of the best musicians that helped put this record together, and I'm so proud of it. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get out there and go.
Well, you mentioned some of my favorites right there. David P. Stevens. I love David P. Stevens. He's been on the podcast. Frank McComb.
Yeah.
I mean, Mesa. I met her back in 1999. Oh, you talking about a sweetheart?
You know Alison Droney too, huh? Because I think he was the one that. All right, he was Natalie Cole's music director before she passed. He's worked with everybody, but he was also Bobby Brown's music director. He's been around for a minute. He really was the first person that kind of like, he saw my talent and said, I want to put a band together with you and we're going to co-write some things. So it was him and Giuseppe Patane, who played with Quincy Jones, Simone Cello, who played with everybody from like Duran Duran. Like he was one of the heaviest rock influences for me. He opened my whole mind up to using my voice in a different way. But like, everybody who played on the record back then, it was when, for instance, in the early 2000s, neo soul was really a thing. Like it was really coming into its late 90s, early 2000s. And when as yet it kind of like died down, I'm from Philly, and I'm back in Philly, and I'm at the Black Lily or the Five Spot in these places where the things were happening. And I was doing spoken word in Leimert Park before that. It just seemed like a logical transition to return to my roots, and the jazz elements were there, the soul elements were there. So the song that you picked was like me paying homage back to the Philly sound as it's known today, and with someone that I went to University of Arts with, who was one of my favorite colleagues, and we had this song that was sitting around that we just never had a chance to get it heard the right way, and all I had was like an old CD where it was like distorted, certain parts of it were crackly, and I said, dang it, gotta do it over. But I'm glad we did, and then each song had a personal meaning to me at the time. And it's like you look at baby pictures and then you go and retouch the baby picture and put it in a nice frame and a little picture album together. That's kind of how it felt like going through, childhood memories in a way.
Well, let's play a little bit of that Hardworking Woman.
Okay.
Let's play a little bit of that. Because, I want to play a little bit of each song. Just to give people, just get the audience, a little bit of the album. Well, I'm going to give them the whole album, but not all the songs.
It's all
maybe a minute and 30 seconds each one, okay? So this is off of Shawn Rivera's new album, and it's called Hardworking Woman. Or Lady, which one?
You got it.
I made the same mistake. Hardworking Lady, that's what it is. Come on in there. Come here.
That's like
I know your schedule is crazy. Ain't got no time for yourself, baby. I think about you on the daily. Have you had some good love lately? I know your schedule is crazy. Ain't got no time for yourself, baby. I think about you on the daily. Have you had some good love lately? You work every day from 9 to 5, trying to survive and do it with a sense of pride. Cause you never ask nobody for a dime, but you ain't got no time to feel the emptiness inside. You don't need no man to provide. Don't think that he could buy your loyalty with clothes and rides, but you you should know that ain't that kind of guy. I just wanna stop by, I only wanna ease your mind. We don't need to be serious if you're just curious. We can take it slow, just roll with me, baby. Cause you need a vacation from your frustration. You deserve a break cause you're a hard-working lady. Anything you wanna do, girl, it's all on you. Let your head down and let your soul go crazy. You feel me and I feel you, I know that you're overdue. Have you had some good love lately? I know the schedule is crazy. Ain't got no time for yourself now, baby, babe. I think about you on the daily. Have you had some good love lately? I know your schedule is crazy. Ain't got no time for no time.
Yes. You know I hate fading that. That's just bad.
Man, right before the little set and everything. That's all good to give me an excuse. Look, as long as you play 30 seconds, I get 2 cents.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. I said at least a minute and 30 seconds. Just at least a minute and 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, that's just bad. You know, like you said, that takes you back to the earlier neo-soul vibe. Because that's when I really started doing all this stuff, too, back in 2009. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I used to do independent artist showcases in the city in New York.
Okay.
And that's how I started meeting all these people. And when COVID hit, we said, well, let me do a podcast. You know, I met all these people over the years. Let me call them up and say, what y'all doing? And come on here and talk. We need to do something because this COVID is whooping our ass and we need something to smile and, you know.
Yes, indeed.
Uplift our spirits.
Well, there's only a handful of folks from that era who are still around, both musically and during COVID with the podcast, when you think about it, right? Because I think being cooped up for some people really caused some self-reflection. For me, it was just Wednesday. I don't go out nowhere, no way. I stay home. I don't want to bother nobody. I'm like, yes, it's quiet. The air is clean.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to bring COVID back, but I wish people would stay 6 feet away at all times. Can we keep that rule in place?
You such a Scorpio.
Oh my goodness, yeah. My wife is gonna. She is, she's I'll say an astrological aficionado. You know what I mean? Like she's at one. So she's an Aquarius, and she's always saying that's such a Scorpio thing to do. And I'm just like, I have no control over the moon or the stars, the mountains or the rivers. Only Babyface and Keith Andrews, they did the mountains and the rivers.
My partner is a Scorpio too, so I know.
Beautiful thing.
I'm a Pisces, so
I won't hold that against you. You know,
don't hate.
The rumors are not true. I cannot confirm or deny.
So let's now the next song. This is the one that I was talking about. Yo, by the time you get to the end of this song, you were blowing.
Oh shit!
And I'm not. And another thing I was going to say, we was talking. I heard on you in a conversation saying that when you were singing last night, that sometimes you had to sing it in front of school kids, and they took them and they were singing the lyrics to the song and blah 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 blah, and how you felt like
they don't tell you what you're gonna do. They just say, get in the car, we gotta go meet. We're doing a high school event, right? The kids, they all got straight A's, and we're thinking we're gonna sing, I don't know, Hard to Say I'm Sorry or whatever, right? And they told us, all right, they wanted to hear Last Night. And keep in mind, we're fathers even back then, few of us were fathers already. And they said, okay, we're going to change it to Last Night, I was in love with you. I was so into you, instead of saying inside of you, right? Then we get outside in the back and all the girls are singing the dirty words back to us in the like in the playground. And it's like, and then we go on Nickelodeon, all that. And we're supposed to be like the special guest. Same thing. They got us up there, grinding. But again, when the management and everybody else is like basically they're lining up your shows, you getting in the van, you pull up, you get there, you're like, I mean, at that time, the only thing crossing my mind was, I guess they know what they're doing. They're probably going to edit it out, or they're like, no, just give us the show. We'll fix, It's really kind of, I look back and I apologize for all of the look, all of the mothers who have extra children because of me.
Because
No, Kenny,
you know what?
I didn't. He sang a low part. He did it. It's not my fault. I didn't write that song. It's Babyface. No, but
Right?
seriously, I'm just thankful that I'm thankful we didn't have the internet back then. We probably would have been canceled.
No, not the way these kids go on nowadays. They just explicit as I don't know what. There's nobody holding their tongue anymore. Shoot.
Yeah.
That's mild compared to what's going on nowadays. And I think about when we was kids and Evelyn Champagne King,
yeah.
make your love come down, and we would change the lyrics. You make my drawers come down.
Yeah, don't get me started with the dirty lyric songs. That's the fun way to pass the time on the tour bus. Yeah.
But I'm listening to some of the songs that here, favorite lips.
Oh man, so that's one of my favorites because it's a triple entendre in a way, And the band, shout out to Petey Pete, my drummer, right? Well, we were all together. It wasn't Shawn Rivera and the band. It was the band back then. We were a band called Blue. So the concept was everybody splitting the publishing and the writing evenly. That way everyone plays, and collaborates together and nobody feels left out. We're just messing around with they would be jamming to different chords and I would say, ooh, well, what if, we keep that part and put a bridge right here, whatever. I was more into the arrangement and overview of it because I trust that all the musicians could play. But when we left that day with that session, and when I heard the music, it put me in this grown folks business right here. We got to, yeah, it's supposed to be a jaw-dropping song. But what I loved about Babyface's writing is that he was suggestive without saying the quiet part out loud. So, when it's saying, I want to grip your hips and kiss my favorite lips goodnight, you can visualize it in more than one way.
Right.
There's a kiss for all four lips,
Well, we talked about we got to play a little bit of that. This is also off of Shawn's latest album. This is called Favorite Lips. Come on in the room, lips.
Baby, I can tell by the look in your eyes tonight that we ain't gonna get no sleep. And I can feel your temperature rising every time I hold you close to me. Baby, you got me stuck 'cause I just can't get enough of your touch. Girl, you're working over me. Relax your mind, let's take our time. Keep it right where it's supposed to be. Turn the lights down and turn on the radio. Listen to the DJ playing our favorite slow songs. Girl, you know you're wrong because you broke the law with what you got on. Take control or just lay back and enjoy the ride. Let me grip your hips and kiss my favorite lips goodnight. So baby, just hold tight. Girl, I hope you're ready for a long night. Baby, don't be frightened 'cause I won't bite unless you want me to. And there ain't too many things.
I think there's going to be some more babies made.
Can only hope. But this is for the empty nesters that are feeling lonely. Don't buy a dog. Put the record on.
That's it.
Exactly. You got one more round left in you. I'm sure you do.
But then they're going to have, one is going to be 20, the other one's going to be 1. You're going to be a grandpa daddy.
But you know what? But you got somebody.
I'm grandpa daddy. I get it.
Shopping. You got somebody. You join the ranks of the illustrious folks like Al Pacino and I'm just saying, in this economy, if you have the luxury of bringing new life into this world, do it responsibly.
Yes,
Yes,
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't expect everybody else to pay for them.
Yes, indeed. Let's say a moment of pleasure could be a lifetime of pain, but it shouldn't be their suffering. It's not. Nobody has to be born. Last I checked.
It's funny. You go to school, and I'm like, wait a second, that's your grandfather. Your grandfather's the same age I am.
But you know what? Like somebody got to keep the legacy going. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So now we talked about this song, but we didn't play it. Say It Ain't So. Now this one has a little rock tinge to it.
Yeah, man.
And,
So Say It Ain't So. That song was kind of the brainchild, like Simone Cello. Shout out to Simone. He's a legendary guitar player. He's played with. I actually went on tour with him. We were playing for. Let's see, it was the Temptations, the Stylistics, Jeffrey Osborne, Howard Hewitt, like all of these One Way, you name it, all these different bands. We did this thing called Club Legacy. And Club Legacy was put together to have all of these artists on a club, on a stage. And John Forbes was the producer on it. And John Forbes was Tyler Perry's music director from the stage play era. And then Allison Droney, he was the maestro who basically put us all together. I was the vocal coordinator. So like I would hire background singers and join them to back up all the other acts with the harmony. And Simone, man, I walked in the room and I'm hearing this soulful guitar that's like, I mean, he funky and just like serious. And then I look over and this is long-haired Italian cat that was like, and then he switched and just start rocking out and shredding. I'm like, man, like super versatile cat and like living legend. One of the dopest cats ever. He had that riff in the beginning, that doom, 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 doom. And so he was like riffing with it, and then everybody kind of was, we'd rented a studio, and everybody kind of pitched in, and we would just hang around. And if we heard a riff or, no matter what, that we're keeping that. Loop that, bring that piece over here. All right, oh, you're going to come in on the keys right here? We're going to bring it in. And then, I'd live with it for a while. But at the time, we were actually kind of pitching songs. Like we weren't really thinking of being a band and releasing a record just yet. It was at that phase. So with Say It Ain't So, it was originally called Dreamin', and there was a film company that was looking for something along the lines of Gnarls Barkley. You remember the classic, I remember when, when, and it had that kind of doom in the beginning, right? So I don't know why or how, but the first thing that came into my mind was to put the key of the vocal kind of similar to where, CeeLo Green was sitting in that song. But the two songs have nothing else in common other than, the fact that they're kind of in a similar tempo.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So when we did that song, it really kind of caught on, and we actually performed in LA at like the Key Club and the Whiskey and Molly Malone's and all these places. And then Simone, because he's a hometown hero in Rome, he brought me with him, and we went to Torre Alfina Blues Festival. There's some footage out there where I got the big fro, and it's if you go to my Instagram and see some of that footage. So basically, I synced up some of the old performance footage with the new version, and it fit perfectly because it's the same song, same tempo and everything. It was just the remix kind of brought a little more modern, like a deconstructed version. Like some people think production is about adding more sounds, but in this case, I wanted something a little like more sparse and to build to that ending. But the rock version is a whole nother thing. Like when you come and see it live, we
take it to
I
another
gotta put
level.
the shredding solo back in. Let the band rock out. You know what I'm saying? After I hit my money notes and all that, we're gonna let the band thrash out. Do their thing. All of us, together. Like it's a beautiful song. And there's some little, I say, undertones in there. It's a risque song, I would say, like when your boundaries are being pushed a little bit and you start to question, like, hey, I might be a little more, a little in over my head right now.
But it's bad. Matter of fact, let's play a little bit. Let's play a little bit. Let's play it for the peoples.
You got it.
Yes. Yeah. And yo, wait till if y'all haven't heard this song yet, wait till you get to the end of it. Cause Shawn just let loose. Just let loose. I was like, wait a second, that sounds like some Shaka-isms in there. You know? Those notes you was giving. I was like, wait a second, I didn't know that brother can hit the high notes like that.
Saying those. Sometimes, if it wasn't for the band, right, it wouldn't have made no sense. But I'll do a bunch of outtakes, right? Which is funny. Like if you were in the studio when we record, I'll do a bunch of outtakes and then come back and like comp it together. But there was even crazier notes, but it just seemed to make sense. I don't know why. Like it wasn't like I sat there and said, "Oh, I want to scream so loud I wake the neighbors." It was just kind of like I tried everything else. I tried the falsetto. I tried the. Let me just see if it'll come out. But out
And the
of
thing
context
about it,
is wild. Out of context,
it wasn't falsetto.
nope. It's a head tone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like my man Freddie Mercury, right?
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury and Steven Tyler, two of my favorite types of rock voices. They have this thing that saying a lot of people don't see the connection between, let's say, the soul and the rock. But obviously, if you are, I'd say, a music aficionado, so you know what it is. So it seems like a likely progression to me to reunite soul with rock, as opposed to people who are looking at it as they're two separate things. And you can, when I listen to Freddie Mercury, right, the voice type that he has when he was going up into those high notes, if you watch how far he is away from the mic, it's actually not that much different mic control than somebody like Karen Clark. You know, like the only difference between the women's and the men's registers when they go into these mixed voices and the head tones is there's usually no break in the female voice, but the placement is still there. And then with the men, we have to kind of work through it and recondition our voice in such a way where that break is smoothed out, and you do the exercises and the mums and the lip trills and all of that just to kind of retrain the muscles not to lock up right there. And some songs in that mid voice you were talking about earlier are harder to sing than the higher notes, because the higher notes are comfortably in that place where the clamp sits on it, and it just
Well, you already switched.
yeah, but it's getting up to it. That's the thing is when you swing up. Yeah, man, that's that thing. And shout out to, of all people, you hip to like James Moss, right? James Moss is Pajam. He's one of the nephews of the Clark sisters. He's a man with a woman's range, but like basically like Daryl Coley. Remember Daryl Coley?
Oh yeah.
So he would do the same thing when he get up in them high notes where you're like, it seems really high, but his mic is actually fairly close. You know what I mean? Like it's something about I'd give a whole class on it, but I literally would wake the neighbors right now. Like this
or Rance Allen. Or what's the name? Rance Allen.
Oh my goodness. No, but he's a real tenor though. He's a real tenor.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he jumped in and out of them octaves and falsettos. Yeah, man. Don't get me started. But
Right.
I just had my coffee too.
You are juiced up now.
Have me cutting up. Nah, I don't need that kind of juice. But seriously, man, there are always people that humble me because I'm like, y'all make it look easy. I might get lucky. Look, it took me a few takes to get it like that. You just comes out. Some people wake up like that.
Well, this dude's a tenor too. Or you think about David Peaston and all those.
Oh my
like
goodness! Look, I was just listening to the other day. David Peaston has it, and of course, oh my goodness! But I say, call me the moment you get there.
Not Aretha.
No. There's the version that my man does. Phil Perry. Phil Perry.
Oh yes, Phil Perry.
He sings it in Patty's key, and I watched him smoking backstage like before because we were on the same show together, and he's like smoking his chain smoking, and then he gets up there, call me the moment you get there. And I'm like, how are you just chain smoking and singing? But he's way higher than, way higher. It's just, I was jealous of these kind of singers because they just wake up with that. But then they're not going to be able to get low, and that's okay too. But nobody comes to hear the low notes unless you Barry White, unfortunately.
And it's a shame, we talk about gospel choirs.
Yeah.
And that's what used to make me mad. It's that gospel choirs, a lot of them didn't have a baritone section.
You know what?
You had to force yourself to sing tenor.
I used to make Wilma Safford. Wilma Safford was our choir director, and I used to make Miss Safford mad because I was still trying to work through that break, so I'm singing with my neck is hurting. I would sing a color note. I'd make a fourth note, and she'd go, "Who did that?" But then, after a couple of years with it, she actually started a baritone section and put just 4 guys in there, and most of the time it was either a bottom octave. Nothing really fancy, but I would always hear minor second or just a color note or an accidental or something. It was just half a step or quarter note, whatever, just to kind of blend in.
Anything to save your voice and still blend in there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Because that's the one thing I think that when Boyz II Men was coming up, a lot of people compared them to Take 6, and then Jodeci was more like commission. And if you look at the singing techniques, Drew Hill and As Yet were kind of the same, cousins to them. And I think that it's a lot harder on your throat over time to sing like Bobby Womack or sing like KC or it's a very chest voice, a lot of throaty sound, that haze. This cat named Michael Speaks is really good at that. There's a lot of these gospel artists seem to have that instrument where they can make it sound natural. But for the rest of us, we go home can't swallow for 3 days. And it shortens your range over time. And I noticed that folks that belt past their chest and don't cover or transition over, they'll have that super high falsetto because of that break. It creates this other overtone, makes it that overtone series easier to hit. But then there is no middle. You gotta kind of stay in your lane and then drop the key over a few years. I love me some Aretha. One thing I loved about Aretha was even when she was going through her worst chain smoking, she would find a key that was comfortable for her and make the song her own every time. She had to sing an octave down, she would make it sound like it was her song,
Yeah.
So you got to work with what you got, limitations.
It amazed me. You talking about smoking, I'm surprised Shaka still sings the way she does, the way she smoked.
Uh-huh.
But
see, I was a 2-pack a day smoker. I switched to vaping because it was, just easier on the throat and easier on everybody else around me too. But that being said, don't smoke, kids. It could be worse. I judge no one. Yeah. But that being said, my voice changed. The original recordings of the old records, I was smoking 2 packs a day, but I was 20 years younger, so I actually feel more command of my voice now because the sludge has worn away. I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of shows under my belt since then. I was with an agency that was doing 200 shows a year. So I would wind up singing other people's songs who were tenor songs. I mean, even stuff like Harry Styles or The Weeknd or whatever, or Stevie Wonder in original key, knowing that I'm never going to sound as good as Stevie. But is they paying you and they're not there to see you. So you better deliver that song because, they're there to hear the music. And once you take yourself out of the equation and really humble yourself and say, okay, how can I best deliver with what I'm given with this band that I just met tonight, with these songs that are on the set list in this key, you find a way to make every song your own. And it no longer is about proving that you can sing. You just want the crowd to be happy. And then you find ways to get the notes out and respect the song, So I really feel strongly about this record because I know that, I know I can pull it off live and it's going to be fun, but I'm also excited for how the band is going to, liven it up this time around after it's like a full circle thing to come back to the original, the sound that I always wanted to get into the world, including As Yet, including Philarico and all the projects anything that I'm involved in, I just wanted to sound its best. Sometimes the song might sound better without me in it. I might suck all the oxygen out of the song, or it's just too busy, or doing too much. Like there's only 9 songs on this album, but there's like 30 other ones that I'm like, okay, they're good, but they don't fit in this record. Or too many slow songs, or I got random hip hop songs and kid songs and rock songs and instrumentals. Like, and I'm like, okay, that's just one day at a time. And like Quincy used to do, he'd make 100 songs and then pick 9. You know what I mean? Like the classic.
And that's got to be difficult, when you got so many songs to choose from. Now, you re-recorded all the vocals on these albums.
Yes and no. Some of the original vocals, I'd use the stem separator. Like, for instance, on Hard Working Lady, right? The scat part, that when you faded it out, it had my original arrangement and then an extra layer of new voices in it, like an octave, but it's the original arrangement. And then Doesn't Matter, the same thing. There's a whole scat at the end that is, I actually scattered for about 6 minutes on the original record. Like, shout out to Giuseppe Patani, the bass player, played with Quincy. He brought me that track. Like, he did the whole track himself because he plays multiple instruments. And he said, I've got this weird thing. I don't know what to do with it. It's very weird. Maybe you'd like it. I said, well, you must know me because I love weird and I am weird. Let's go. And then when I heard it, it made me think, it needs something unique. And then at the end, I put my voice into an octavizer, right? So like I'm singing the bottom octave and then there's a phantom octave that's following me. And I figured, let me kind of scat to it and just see what happens. And I have a whole outtake called Scat Daddy where it's just the scat for like 6 minutes. So I lifted that off of the 2-track from like a stem separation and then lined it up with the new track and it fit perfectly. So my actual original vocals are on there and new vocals that were added.
Wait, shoot, you talked about it. Let's play Doesn't Matter. That's a little jazz gem. I call it a jazz gem on the album. Because like you said, he's scatting and the vibe, but it's very jazzy. Mm-hmm. So check this out, y'all. Check it out.
Was young, I used to fall in love with only what my eyes would see. Dedicate myself so superficially till you came along. Do you prove me wrong? Your beauty glows from the inside out. Now I know what real love is all about. You can have a stain on your birthday suit, wear some holy jeans and some old work boots. Hey, you can go gray with a missing tooth. It really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. You can wear a dress that your grandma made, or you can wear the same thing every day. As long as who you are and your heart don't change, it really doesn't matter to me. Once upon a time, I was out of my mind. On the surface, everything suggested I was fine. I found out it wasn't so easy to accept everything I believed in. 'Cause I was so out of touch and only cared for myself and only looking for show and go tell till you woke me up from my sleep, putting me under your spell. We can take a cruise on the 7 seas. We can stay at home and just shoot the breeze. As long as I can be in your company, it really doesn't matter to me. So we can have a house in a fancy car, or we can live out in a trailer park, sleeping in the street underneath the stars. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't need glasses.
Oh, I hate to fade this. I should.
That's what I was like, I don't know.
I almost played the whole thing.
Right? You always come up before the scat. Just put a little Al Jarreau in that, John.
Oh, please, Al Jarreau, forget about it.
Say, you don't see me when I'm trying to do right. He said, I'll beat your mama, I'll beat your daddy. It make no difference. That was my song, though. You don't see me.
Al Jarreau, oh my God, God bless his soul. What an
Yeah, man.
incredible talent.
Do you remember that song that McDonald's commercial with my John?
Right.
You all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. With,
Who was that? Oh, Tommy Davis is the one that did. Remember he did that on the stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, him and
man.
Vesta, man. We were just talking about Vesta the other day.
Oh, Vesta.
Yeah. He was one of my favorites.
I miss her to death, too.
Yeah.
So, we miss you, Vesta. I'm telling you. Rest in peace, girl. Sleep in peace. Gone way too soon. Way too soon.
Yeah. It's really sad when you see the people that help, like they're part of your childhood, like they, like you're saying about Shaka, certain artists, you come up and you feel like they're your family member, your auntie, your sister, your cousin, and as time goes, the number of people older than you never gets greater. I mean, the longer we live, the fewer folks stay standing.
That's true.
So
That's true.
give folks their flowers while they're still here to smell them.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Like Cy Smith has a song, Flowers. I love that song. Miss Cy and her bad self.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed.
But I hear that, I feel like your voice now sounds better than it did then.
I have to agree. Like I said, I stopped smoking. And
It's fuller. It has more richness to it.
And yes, like I said, that there's other things that I could have done then, right? And vocally, I was really just discovering, like, when you're in a group, you only get, even if everyone sings evenly, you still only get 1/5. And you play your role as you're supposed to. You stay in your range, you stay in your lane. You're on stage for an hour, but you might only sing for 10 minutes. So a lot of what really helped me grow was working with bands and putting on shows, singing other people's songs, singing cover songs, because trying to find out how they're reaching that tonality. It's just like there are people who just play horn, and they will work on that one tone, on that one horn, for a lifetime, and they're always chasing it, And like I said earlier, I said, there are people that told me, this don't sound like you. Did you use AI? I said, yeah, I used AI, but come to the show. You're going to see what it is, because this is a different era, and I'm finally able to express, to fulfill the technical requirements needed to express the ideas I've always had. Before, it might have taken me 50 takes to get one good note. And now I'm like, okay, well, if you do it every day long enough, and you write where you connect the lyrics to your voice. It's another thing when, like, I used to be a session singer for other people, and you do whatever they tell you to do. They're paying you. They tell you, hey, look, sing it this way. I want you to pronounce it that way. Drop the vowel here, make it elongate the A, like all these little technical things to please that particular client. And sometimes it goes against your better instincts. And if you're not paying for the session, forget about it. Then the other thing is when you don't have, let's say you don't have the equipment. They say only a poor craftsman blames his tools, but try painting an airplane with a Q-tip and see how long it takes you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think a lot of artists that I admire, they have transformed over time. And for instance, right? Listen to Usher's early records, and then listen to when he discovered his head voice, when his range expanded. It's a totally different record from All the Time I Think of You to Let It Burn. He's like, like he's opening up, he's letting it out, and you need that. Even Stevie and Michael had those transitions, and from singing at a young age where my voice had just changed, and I'd been in that group for 6 years, so I used to sing the top line of all the Tech Six songs. I had a whistle tone, but I kind of lost it once you bridge the gap between and Luther was good for this too. Luther, he had a consistent range his whole career.
Yeah.
And you never heard a break. His voice sat smoothly all the way through. But he knew not to go out of his range. Like he'd give you the feeling of range without going out of his key. You feel me?
Right.
And
I
even
no, I got
Mariah
you.
Carey, she in her earlier records like the Vision of Love era, she was singing more chesty, and then she got into this kind of a whisper thing, which I understood because she was trying to maintain her voice over a year's worth of shows. And if you sing when you're in the recording studio, you can do it over and take a break and come back to it. But when it's live, and you got to do it every night, night in and night out, eating crappy food and sleeping in different cities and everything. This was the first time I got to do things the right way, coming in and going out, business wise and vocally, taking care of my health. I say my vocal health, my mental health, making sure that everyone who contributed to the record was properly registered as a co-writer on all of the, the platforms and the income streams, but also just knowing, okay, nobody made me do this. Nobody made me do this. And these are records, like I said, from a time when I was just hungry and sincere. And now I'm sincere and hungry. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
yes, it sounds different, and yes, it's gonna be even better when you come and see it. I can't wait. Like I'm so getting ready for the tour right now.
I can't wait either. You coming to tri-state area?
We're working on it. See, I got some dates lined up overseas, and it's kind of like a repeat of what happened with a lot of bands. We talked about As Yet. You remember back in the day how, let's say, Johnny Wright was managing, these groups like these boy bands, or like think about like, I don't know, Backstreet Boys
Sure.
or
Right.
NSYNC. These kind of groups would go overseas first and then build their way back to the States. The summer tours in the States were put together, from the winter on. And you get up there and you may do one or two songs if you already got a hit out. I dropped this record on March 4th. I didn't even think I was going on tour. I just put, like I said, I'd put it out for the love of. So if I was with a label, I'm sure they would have put it out, right after Christmas, in February, and been pumping it to the radio stations. So what wound up happening was when I started getting calls from radio stations and people through word of mouth and connections, and a few fluke viral videos where somebody had synced my song up to something and it fit, I got requests to do some spot dates. And then through my management, well, again, I didn't expect to be talking to these people, but I'm like, wait a minute. There's a company out here in the UK that actually seems to fit like where I'm going with this. And after, days, weeks, and months of talking, they convinced me to actually take this seriously in a way that we're now performing in July and August in Europe. And then when I come back, we're going to basically have enough traction to bring us through the holiday season. Then next summer, we can start in the States, and then the people who enjoyed the show last year can see it on a bigger scale. Like right now, it's just an 8-piece band. I say just an 8-piece band, but some of these songs could do with a whole 8-piece horn section if we wanted to, or all that other great stuff. But again, it's the timing is I've just made the cut for half the summer this year as far as like demand. And it's mostly opening for artists. I mentioned before, like Frank McCollum was one. John B's thing. We used to open. Oh, that was the other thing. As Yet used to open for John B. Before our record came out, me, Kenny, and Dion went on tour with John B to back him up on his records. And a lot of great singers, like Mariah Carey, was a backup singer for Brenda K. Starr.
Brenda K. Starr,
So
yeah.
my thing is, I'm still young enough yet that I get in where I fit in. I don't have to headline nothing. You don't got to put my name on the flyer. Just give me a mic and make sure it works and tell me where I need to be, and I'll make the rest happen, because I see the long game. When you build a community and you build a team, and everybody from the lighting person to the T-shirt guy to the security to the bartender to the janitor is all part of the band, in the sense, you know what I'm saying, where we're all
Yeah.
on the same. We all want the same thing from this to provide something of value to be of service, to feed our kids and make people happy, all of that good stuff. So we're going to do some stateside shows, but most likely it'll be spot dates, because the commitments are building up overseas. I go where the love is, so I need to come
I know
to
that's right.
Connecticut. I'm here in Philly, and at the moment, but I'll be in Chicago in a couple of weeks. I'm pretty sure, looking at that too. So I'll keep you posted. because there may be, I may be able to squeeze out a couple shows before I leave just to get, you know, we'll see where it is.
Now,
Because right now, like I said, we're just putting the band together, and it's catching me by surprise that it's been about, yeah, since March, and here we are in not even in June yet, and
yeah,
already 1.6 million streams globally. Now, it's not like all on Spotify or Apple Music. There's a lot of these secondary platforms and so I was shocked. I mean, I was just looking, like I was talking to one of my boys from Philly Rico, right? And I was showing him how, how it's set up putting the record out, and you just like go through your distributor TuneCore or whatever. And I click on it and I'm looking and I see it and it says album name Shawn Rivera, streams 1.6 million. I was like, what the 1.6 what? Like I double clicked it. I was like, wait, I'm gonna log out and log back in. I look at it again. I jumped up out of my seat. But when you break down the numbers, I mean, there's like people in Kenya are playing it, people in Italy are playing it, the UK, South Africa. So it's going to take a while to consolidate a fan base to where I can actually pack out a stadium or anything like that. But I would love to be at the City Winery, opening up for anybody at this point, just doing a few dope songs, throwing a few covers, a little variety show or whatever, man. Like I just love to do it. I mean, it's
I
one of the
think
few
you can
things
do
I seem to love.
City Winery shoot. I think you can
Yeah,
do
City
it.
Winery is a dream come true. Some people look at that as like, no, I'm like, that's my vibe, man, because I like to connect with people.
That's right. Small, intimate.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? We was talking about City Winery.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Okay.
I was thinking this.
Yeah, bring it out.
Now, you have been in this for many a year. Now, what would you say to people that are trying to get into the industry when it gets to that point when you are not in like as yet anymore and you are trying to find your way? And
Man.
like you said, people know you as this person in this big group, and now what do you do?
You know what? That's a very good question. First of all, seek mental help. And I know that's going to sound crazy because usually people ask me, what would you say to someone who's trying to get in? And I would say, don't do if you can think of doing anything else. But there's a very specific class of individual who through either whether it's their fault or through no fault of their own, finds themselves on the other end of a record deal. Trends change, times change. Like for instance, in my case, I didn't get to blow millions at the racetrack. You know what I mean? Never put a needle in my arm, never wound up in rehab, nothing crazy. We all do dumb stuff. But this was a case of literally LaFace Records was no more. I can't blame it on them if they sold the catalog. They didn't put no more records out. We had internal issues, but they could have been overcome. My advice is that you have to ask yourself why you're still doing this. Why did you do it in the first place? Success definitely, success takes on a deeper meaning because a lot of people, I think they don't really have the time. If you're constantly chasing something, you don't have the time to really take stock and analyze your own thought process. So for me, it was like, well, if I'm chasing these achievements in order to be happy, why not skip the achievements and go straight to the happy? Does making music make me happy? Yes. Do I want to share this happiness with others? Yes. Do I want to do it for a living so that those I love can be happy as well and not struggle like I did? Yes. Then success looks like the City Winery. Then success looks like making your own records at home instead of chasing after a record deal. Then success means owning your masters. Then success means collaborating with complete strangers who share your vibe as opposed to chasing after the next big name producer. Then success looks like taking an even cut or a pay cut for the greater good, because in order for things to happen, some sacrifices need to be made. Not sacrificing your integrity in order to be famous or perceived as something. And sometimes it looks like taking a risk in the sense that people want you to stay in that lane. They want you to stay as you were. I'm supposed to put the white suit back on and only sing ballads. And, that's great. I mean, I'm going to go into a whole grown man era and be out there doing my Will Downing one day or my Kim, I'll be on a cruise ship next week. If it's
Right?
it's the why, it's not the what anymore. For me, I was disillusioned very early with the industry. When I got to California and I found out that, hey, these streets aren't paved with gold, they paved with souls. It's really painful to watch. And a lot of folks are pretending to be more important than they are. They're pretending to get what they want. Folks that we all know and love, living out of their cars, couch crashing, and I don't judge nobody for, because circumstances are temporary. And again, if society is telling you that success means a certain number of sales or a certain net worth or a certain lifestyle, you will soon find that you'll always feel empty, because I got a chance to experience a lot of the things that people wish they hadn't. The thing that always gets me is they'll say, easy for you to say because you did it and you got there. Yeah, it's easy for me to say from experience that what I'm actually saying is true. That haven't you been watching our favorite artists dying tragic deaths, unhappy? All of the people I looked up to, from Michael Jackson on down, I'm like, wait, they did everything I ever wanted and ever could want to achieve from a musical success standpoint, and they still weren't happy. Why is that? And that brings me back to seeking mental help. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of introspection to say, you know what? I need all of my organs to be functioning correctly, not just my heart and my liver, but my brain. And you can find a what some may refer to as a spiritual avenue. I'm not here to preach to anybody about any specific sort of, system that works for you. But if you don't take the time to really ask yourself, examine your motives for why you're doing this, you're going to be the old man at the club still trying to get the hookup. You're going to be, that guy with the loud truck trying to floss in the street, gonna be at the bar with your chest hair out, with
the gold chain,
right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure, and I still, I say, we see it every day. There are still people that I know personally who are still chasing that, like they never got off that hamster wheel where enough is never enough, more is never enough. They got to have the next new shiny thing or the next, whatever. And then you wind up being that old dude that's like surrounded by girls that are only there for your money or whatever it might be. Like, I don't want my last chapter to be a cautionary tale.
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend that's a booking agent, and she'll call artists and, I got these gigs for you. They're overseas and they're for this amount of money, and it's 10 gigs for whatever amount of money. And the people will say, oh, well, that's not enough money. But you haven't had a gig in 2 years or something like that.
Man,
and they say, well, I want it to be, it needs to be $200,000 or something like that. And I'm thinking, you haven't had a gig in forever. Plus, if you take these gigs right now, it can lead to something. Sometimes you got to bring yourself back down and take something that's available to you now to bring yourself back to where you need to be, where you want to be.
You called it, because one of the best decisions I ever made, people close to me at the time thought I was crazy. So after the pandemic, like during the pandemic, there was not a lot of nothing going on. Then after the pandemic, it was very slow coming back to things. I was kind of disillusioned by the industry already. So I'm thinking, I was doing like production stuff at home. Like there's still people like writing for films and stuff, and I'd like do composing and just stay home. So I got a call from a friend, and this friend said, hey man, look, do you want to sit in with the band at your 30th, like a 30th high school reunion? Right? Now it's a high school band composed of my old classmates who I didn't even know they could play any instruments, right? But turns out one of my gospel choir classmates was in like one of these bands that does weddings and, like a gigging cover band. I said, all right, cool. I'm thinking I'll do a couple songs, and then, like we'll recreate the high school talent show, but with the same people back now, right? Apparently someone in the crowd saw that and said, hey, I want you to meet this agent, right? So then when I meet the agent says, hey, we got this little open mic club downtown, just sitting with the band, and we'll see what it is. Turns out the owner of the club was a classmate of mine at University of the Arts, and he hooked me up with these folks. They had me doing country clubs, weddings, end of life ceremonies, and it was only a few $100 a gig, but 200 gigs a year, and nobody knew my name. And I had a friend that said to me, "You better than this, man. You better than this." And I said, "No, I'm not." I said, do you see how hard these people are working for this little bit of money? You know how good you have to be to be able to keep this up this long? I said, "I'm happy to be good enough. Good enough is good enough. I'm paying my bills. I live well. I get to do what I love to do." I did it for a couple of years, got a little burnt out, not necessarily vocally, but there comes a point when you've done it long enough, and that's why you need to take a hiatus, because it stops being fun when it's like the same 50 songs every night. It stops being fun when scheduling becomes predictably awkward. Like, then you start to think, man, I could do a better version of this. But if I hadn't graduated from the School of Hard Knocks, and that's a lot of these artists, like you said about humbling yourself, right? As Yet spent 6 years singing in the streets before we got our deal. Meanwhile, you got another band that was put together with so-and-so's nephew, so-and-so's cousin, people that slept their way in, and they either don't have longevity or they're at the mercy of this whole team of people that created this image for them, and they have no autonomy in their lives, So I think the long way is the best way sometimes. The low road will lead you to the high road, but there's only one way to go but down on that high road.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because see, people are like, well, what Shawn has been doing all this, since '96, and here it is, 2026.
Doing push-ups.
30 years.
That's it, push-ups.
He's been keeping in shape though. He didn't blow up.
Gotta eat right, gotta sleep right, drink some water, all things in moderation. All things in moderation. I learned my lesson. I had them wild nights and falling asleep on the plane and waking up in another city, all of them type of things. That's all fun and games, but that was, a byproduct of those days. Now it's like, okay, I get there early so I can meet the staff, meet the people that paid for the VIP or whatever, those sorts of things, and talk to the promoters, get to know the audience, maybe sit and have a couple drinks with them first, so mix with people, do the show, sign if any obligations that need to be done. Once the show's over, go back to the hotel, knock out, wake up, make some breakfast or go get some breakfast, keep it moving. Like,
Yeah.
It's the best way to stay out of trouble is not to bring it with you and not to take it home with you.
Okay.
Say happily married and unbothered.
Let's get to another song. Let's get to let's say Edible Pleasures.
Oh man.
Yeah. See, that's all these risque titles up in here.
I'm saying
Favorite
this was
lips,
for the
edited?
last night fans. Like the risque stuff is for the R&B fans, grown folks business. I think we get a little bit more sophisticated. This particular one was my own odd brainchild, meaning that this one I played the keyboard parts and put the original drum program and everything. It was just kind of like a sparse, sexy thing. But I noticed that R&B doesn't have a lot of compound meter, meaning like this isn't an odd meter, and people will count it differently. Like if you count it in 16s, it may be 10 16ths, but I'm just hearing it like boom, 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 boom. So like most people wouldn't catch it because the accents imply a different downbeat on every measure. But the jazz heads will hear it, the musicians will hear it, but to the average person, it's just a feeling. It's a feeling of floating, I think. It was something I wanted to kind of give a spacious, atmospheric, sort of sultry vibe. Edible pleasures incessantly, no inhibitions, just let it be.
Yeah.
Opening up to the possibilities.
On that note, we don't need any more discussion. We just gonna let it play. Come on in here, Edible Pleasures.
seek them anyway. It's been so long since I felt anything in every way. The scent of you is all I need, to hunger for all I can eat. The pain is bitter, but the taste is oh so sweet. Edible pleasures incessantly, no inhibitions, just let it be. Opening up to the possibilities. Sensual measures infinitely, tension and pressure exquisitely. Impressively you release my breath from me. I love how you drive hazardously, 105 in the backseat. You take me places no road will ever lead. Mysterious tantric positions of you, natural animal instinct to do. Witnessing visions no eyes could ever.
Yeah, that's just bad right there.
Dang.
Like you said, that beat is so unique.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I was in the middle of the night, and for those gearheads, if you remember that they had the Triton, it was a Triton keyboard, Triton rack, and I just used the stock sounds in that for the original version, and I could never quite find a band to play it because of the odd beat. So the AI was helpful in giving me like the sound of, the band the way it was instead of just like a drum machine sound. But I really, really, that's one of those things. Sometimes a song just comes to you and you're in a mood. It's like buck naked in the living room by yourself and just like, that's what I'm feeling. So I lead others to a treasure I don't possess. Sometimes, like, a lot of the romantic stuff I wrote when I was single. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it usually is. You feeling like you want this in your life.
The mating call. The mating call.
Yeah.
Caw-caw.
And then you play for somebody, like, oh, what do you think it is? Oh,
some birds do a dance and some make a sound, whatever it takes to make the world go round.
But let me tell you, y'all, if y'all like what you hear, please go on over there, wherever you listen to music, and download Shawn Rivera's latest album. Matter of fact, until the album comes out, because from what I hear, he said he planned on coming out on vinyl. So I can't wait to get my little greedy hands on some vinyl of it.
And yes, we're definitely going to press up a vinyl, and we're going to include some extra treats. Just, we're going to fill up all them grooves. But definitely what you hear will be on there. Some of the original mixes or alternate mixes, the demos, like we got to give something to reward those folks who made the extra effort. And also the printed lyrics. I purposefully did not include printed lyrics on the digital versions because first of all, I had no idea you guys would actually want to know the lyrics. And then I love to hear when people make up their own words because I do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I was one of those kids who thought Michael Jackson was saying, "Keep up with the post office." I'm like, what's he keeping up with the post office for? Right?
Right?
Yeah. What did he say? There's always that song that somebody will put in their own word. So with Last Night, that when Kenny's part where he says, "There was no blood in it," they used to say, "What did you mean by there was no blood in it?" Wait, there was no blood in it. And I'm like, it got to the point where every other city they would ask us. And then one day Kenny just looked and he said, "'Cause she wasn't on a period that day."
This is a family-friendly program.
That's funny because you just reminded me of something else. It reminds me, I was in the Marine Corps and I was stationed in Beaufort, South Carolina. And they, you have the Geechee people there.
Yeah.
And they would make the red rice And usually the Marine Corps, they say, don't eat no that red rice. They put the menstrual in it. That's how they get you to want to marry them.
Look, my wife always say, "Don't let no woman cook you spaghetti." Yeah, I used to hear that. Too. But I do love Beaufort, South Carolina. I've been there. One of my good friends, Big Black. Shout out to Big Black. He's a legendary conga player from the bebop era. He took me out there, and we were just enjoying Big Sister Park. There's a jazz community out there that's like just incredible. And they had some really great oysters, Rockefeller. Like you can get like seafood out there, and the land is just so spacious and peaceful. Like I understood why people fell in love with the area, and it's like life slows down, and you see things clearly, and it's good for your nervous system. I think forget about all of the quote unquote negative aspects that we hear about sundown towns and all these other areas. When you actually enjoy, I fell in love with the South. I said, but in Beaufort specifically, in Winston-Salem, Raleigh, Durham, and all those areas are just beautiful to me. Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I like I said, I was stationed in South Carolina, but we went all over. So from Jacksonville to Charleston. Like my daughter, she's thinking about going to the Savannah School of. What's that school? That art school in Savannah. Anyway, I was like, "Girl, go ahead, go there." I love Savannah. Savannah is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife, she's family from Tuskegee, Alabama.
Yeah.
And we in Texas, based out of Texas right now. And that was another one where I if you'd have told me that I would fall in love with Killeen, Texas, that's another military town. I was in the Army Reserves, so like Fort Dix was where I went, but when I got out to there's just certain communities that make you feel at home, and it's not about what they say it's about. It's
and to top it off, I always tell people, I mean, on the whole, if you look at a particular state, you might see that the legislative and the governor and all of them is a hot ass mess, but there are pockets in that state that are beautiful, and that people embrace one another, and
Absolutely.
so you just don't go out of there. Take the plane out of there, but you can.
Left.
There's always a beautiful spot somewhere in there,
Yes, indeed.
So
Yes, indeed.
like you said, like Beaufort,
Yeah.
I love being in Beaufort, but let's do another song. Let's see. We did Edible Pleasures. Oh, Too Late.
Oh man.
Now,
So
that's a sad one there.
now that one was definitely about a specific relationship, because that was I don't want to say this person is still alive. She's still alive, so I don't want to. But let's just say that many moons ago, I realized that in spite of my best efforts, this particular relationship could not be fixed under any circumstances because it was beyond repair. And you still, on one level, you're still coming to terms with that loss, and you still, you're holding on to something that's already gone. So you want to get your last lick in, quote unquote, but it's kind of hard to enjoy that last lick when they're leaving. And if you listen to the lyrics, it's, there's that metaphor, kind of like baby, it's cold outside, where
Yes.
I know you got to go, but
It's going to be rainy out there.
Just have a cup of coffee first, just chill for a second.
Right.
I know we got to go. It ain't got to be all that serious, but just rest your feet for a minute because it's looking wild out there. Just wait till the morning. It'll be all right. So it's don't say goodbye tonight, even though it's too late to apologize.
What other song was that? Was that Don't Say? Who sang that song? No, don't. Oh. Is it Glenn Jones or one of them people? Can't think of the song though.
It'll come back in the middle of the night. You're gonna be singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. One of those people have a song with that same vibe to it. If you gotta leave, but don't leave tonight. Or even what's the name? Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight. What's that?
Yeah,
Isley
man.
Brothers.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes.
So This one is called Too Late. I hope y'all enjoying everything that you're hearing in this conversation. I know I'm enjoying doing it. And I hope Shawn is having a good time. I think he is.
Oh yeah, all day, every day. Living the dream.
This is called Too Late, y'all. It's got a little blues feel to it. Yeah, sing.
Oh man! So quick story about that song. It started out as a piano ballad played by the legendary Alessandro Alessandroni, who was I was telling you about him earlier. He's Natalie Cole's music director. He's worked with everybody from Pink to Christina Aguilera to Babyface to Bobby Brown to Rick James. He was also on that tour that we doing the music with Temptations and Stylistics. I mean, this guy, I could go on for days about his laundry list of achievements as a songwriter, composer. He got on the piano and he played the chords, the whole song form, just on piano. And when I heard it, I that was what came to me, because I used the feeling that the music gave me to apply it to the situation I was going through in my relationship. And the full band came afterward, So shout out to Alex Alessandroni for that inspiration and that beautiful collaboration. Yeah, that one always gets me in the feels because, I take it personal. And it's one of them songs when you get to the end, I think that's going to be one of the songs I have to do at every show now. I'm like, that's the one I got to warm up for. Like, can't do that right out the gate because you don't have people crying before you get them dancing first. Then you know.
Exactly. Yes, they be in there crying like what was it? You talking about Shawn Rivera? I Can Explain.
Oh man. I'm like,
oh my goodness. Oof. That song right there.
To me, some of my favorite songs come from, you can tell it's a personal, story. It's not just something to sound clever. I mean, clever's cool too, but sometimes it just is.
And I knew it the minute I heard it. I said that comes from a truthful spot right there. That is nothing but genuine emotion in that song.
Mm-hmm.
So,
shout out to Genuine. Shoot. No, because I think about back in those days when people always talk about the 90s as being like the last era of R&B that had like the sincerity or the romance or the and I remember when we were coming in, we were just coming off of that era between like when the Luthers and the Freddie Jacksons and those were over, and then it was like Bobby Brown, and then like hip hop was taking the main stage. So a lot of the R&B was becoming edgier, and then here we were in our suits being classy, talking about we're going to put the romance back into music, and then we did, only for it to then turn into what it became, and then it was no more, and now here we are 30 years later, still trying to bring the love back. You know, I think the love never left. It might have got lost.
Right.
Make a wrong turn.
Right. I mean, I'm always looking. I mean, that's why I love doing what I'm doing right now, because, I mean, there's so much good music out there that it's not being promoted. Nobody's hearing it. Nobody knows anything about it. And say, oh, there's no good. There is good music out there. It's just not being brought to the forefront. Right. So, I mean, anything that I can do to help bring it to the forefront, I'm doing it, because it deserves it. I mean, this is what I love. This is what I was raised on. This is what brings me joy. This is what fills my soul. And I think it fills other people's soul too, but they just don't know where to find it.
True that. True that.
You know, even young people. I mean, I play for some young people. Like my daughter, she's like, oh my God, he can really sing. I said, yeah. She said, not like some of these people nowadays.
Well, you know what? Hopefully, you know, hopefully you're there to guide her through some of them lyrics. I don't know how old she is. Don't get me in trouble.
She's 16. She's 16.
She's heard words on the radio for sure.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The stuff that they be playing nowadays, I'm like, please, this is light.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? I almost did the truffle butter remix, but I thought it was a cooking song, and then I said, no, they ain't gonna work. It ain't what I thought it was.
Put on the album.
It's a remix for sure. Remix now, but seriously, I get a lot of. I understand why, especially when you're a certain age and you get rewarded and a lot of attention on you if you happen to sing well, or you know you have some kind of a musical gift, or you're an entertainer, whatever it may be, right? So most of us are going to go through that phase in life where we think that we're going to change the world, or we think that we are the exception to the rule, that we can bend the rules. You're always testing the limits. You want to be tough, or you want to be edgy, and you want to be like out the box, or be a spectacle and all of that, right? Everybody's not in it for the same reasons. So I don't knock people like, okay, for instance, if you are honest with yourself and you're a stripper who makes music for strippers, strip on. World's oldest profession, you know what I'm saying? That's your lane. But then there's other people who are convinced that the only way to get somewhere is to follow the trend, and that will only leave you one step behind every trend forever, you know?
Yeah.
And I just look at it like this, man. Timeless music never goes out of style. I don't care what they look like, how, you know, you remember back in the day when you heard a song, you didn't even know what race they were. You didn't know if they were big, fat, old, young. You know, you could have a horseshoe George Jefferson haircut back here and a gold suit on with chest hair out, you know.
You say gray hair and missing a tooth.
Exactly. Exactly. You could wear the dress that your grandma made, right? See, inside jokes on the lyrics. I got you. Yeah. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I miss those days when, like, people didn't know, like Tina Marie or Bobby Caldwell. They were like, wait a minute, hold up.
You're right.
You know, or you just didn't care what they looked like because the music was so good and it wasn't so politicized or racial and all those things. But then when the artist is that kind of artist, when I say that kind of artist, the artist that's like, look, I'm here to make a statement, a political statement, or make a change, like Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, like a tour de force, or like a Nina Simone, you know, like there's certain artists who are called to do that. And most people don't answer their calling. They're looking to be told where they belong, as opposed to, you know, it's a lot harder to kind of forge your own path. And for me, I'm just paying homage to the music I grew up with. Just like you're saying, like I don't think I'll ever be, why would I want to be Stevie Wonder? We already got Stevie Wonder. Why would I want to be, you know, John B or whoever? Like all these artists I admire, I'm glad they exist so that I don't have to be them. Like I was talking to my wife the other day, right, about Joe. The singer Joe. Joe is just, he's incredible, right?
Yes.
And people ask me to do cover songs, and there's certain artists where I'm like, okay, I'm not doing Joe, and I'm not doing Tevin Campbell, not because I'm sure I can find a way to get through the song, but no, I'm like, I'm good. I have limits. We're human. I'll
Right.
cheer them on, like Avery Wilson. Like let him do
Oh,
that. Now. Yeah,
yeah, all up in the stratosphere and everything.
he was made for that. For that challenge.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll do a little
Get in
bit
where you
of
fit in. That is it. Get in where you fit in.
Yes, indeed. I make it. I'm just happy to be present. Just present. Say to attend the master class of music and watch and learn from all the people who are doing it, been doing it longer, doing it better, and the young folks that are still carrying the torch. There's a lot of like you said, a lot of great music that people haven't discovered yet. So I'm always looking for new things, just because it keeps life from being stale. New music, keeps exciting.
Yeah. Now, if you was going to put together your all-star, it doesn't. Matter of fact, it doesn't have to be all-star. The band that you would like to record with, who would be the people that you would put together if you really dead or alive? Don't make a difference. So who would be the people?
That's a tough call. It depends on what the project is, because
So I know
like,
some. Oh, I'm about to say like. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm cutting you
no,
off.
I'm asking. Is this a
It's
band
for-
I would like to watch perform, or are they? Is it a fusion album? Is it?
This is something that what your heart calls you to do. Is you're not doing it for somebody else. It's it's like the album that you're doing now. You put it together, and you use the people that you want to use. But
Yes,
if
that was the dream team for this record. I would like to reunite that band. Now, keep in mind that these cats are scattered around the world right now. So, Petey Pete is in Chicago. Simone is in Rome right now. Alex is in California. Giuseppe's actually in California too. So at least two of them are there. So it was originally a 5-piece band, right? But these guys are in demand and they're working all the time. So in order for them to get paid what they deserve on an industry rate, for us we'd have to be headliners, because they're all getting music director level money, and they're all music directors in their own right. So it would be really difficult for them. It's the same, like that's one of the hardest problems about, let's say, what do they call that? An embarrassment of riches, quote unquote, meaning that all of the artists that I work with, or the musicians that I work with, they all do this for a living. It's not like a hobby or like a side gig. So I don't have major label money. And I was thankful. Now, I'm getting to the answer to this question, believe it or not. But right now, with the help of the Rebirth Collective, shout out to Simon Manny and Viv Ayas. They reached out to me because they coordinate shows overseas, and they work with a lot of artists that you may have featured. Jared Lawson.
Oh yeah. I love Jared.
And of course, Frank McComb we were talking about earlier. But a lot of artists that I respect have gone through the pipeline working with this particular team, or people that are affiliated with them. We had a lot of mutual friends, and they work with Incognito. And a few of the members of Incognito are also, let's say, free agents or working with other artists. And I'm putting together a UK all-star band. Well, they're helping me put together a band for the European run. And I think that hopefully, let's say, knock on wood, should the momentum build to where we can fly people out and bring the full band everywhere, like that kind of a tour, then I would reunite the original band. Now, as far as living or dead, for the kind of music that I love, I would say, okay, who wouldn't want, for instance, there's no one right way to do this, but let's say, for instance, who wouldn't want somebody like Herbie Hancock playing keyboard on your song, or even Robert Glasper would be dope, right? I can think of, because I'm really a chord forward person, but I'm so happy with what Alison Joni does that I wouldn't even need to call anybody else. But I'm just saying, like, if he's busy, I could call someone on that level who hears things. But there's so many people that are unknown or that I don't know about where I'm like, ooh, like they're the next, they're forward thinkers.
Yeah.
It depends on the style of music, what kind of drummer. Like Petey Pete, who is the cat from Chicago. He was En Vogue's drummer, but he also played with Nick and Aaron Carter. Like he does pop, rock, and soul. He's not necessarily a jazz drummer who's going to do all of the fills, right? But every last pulse feels like a drum machine. He can play to the click, and from the fourth hour in, shit still knocking, never dragging, and it just keeps your energy up. He has a connection to that drum sound, and that's harder to find than somebody fresh out of Berkeley who's doing doing all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't have a. I mean, okay, let's get Anderson .Paak to be the drummer. Just for because he got a swag, he got a handle, he can sing backups too. And we're playing. This is for shits and giggles. For guitar, man. Again, Simone was the one who played on a lot of the stuff on this record, or played the original incarnations that became the record. And they got to be at least that good. So I really don't want to put somebody in that category. I'd make people angry. But you said living or dead. Oh, we're gonna go with Jimi Hendrix, because he can play rock
Hey.
and soul. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Why not, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shoot. Now, percussions. There's a cat that I worked with for years named Angel Figueroa. Angel Figueroa played on everything from Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite, but he also played with...
I knew that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
He played with Sting. He played with Herbie too. But again, I met him. He's a professor of jazz studies at USC at the time. This is probably about almost 30 years ago, right? And we've been friends ever since. He's from Chicago. He can play any style of music. He's attempted to give me lessons from time to time, and I always play everything backwards and messed up, but I try because it's just fun. But this man, living or dead? I mean, let's say Giovanni Hidalgo. I mean, the man, anybody who can play till their fingers fall off.
Right.
I mean, no, it's true. It's no disrespect, but that's how much he loved his instrument. You know what I'm saying? To where he literally, lost a nub or two. It's the way that he plays. It's the way that the passion in which he plays and the versatility. But Big Black, if I'm doing a jazz or bebop record, I was just talking about him earlier. This cat, I mean, if you ever see the movie Soul Power, he's the only musician that got billing separately. He played behind James Brown and B.B. King and Celia Cruz and all them, and he was the fight music for the Rumble in the Jungle. He was in the fight corner playing. Then they put him up on stage by himself, and he made a whole composition with his drums. Everybody else was playing behind somebody. They let him just run. Big Black. He's pushing 90 now, but we just talked like 2 days ago because, he's like a grandfather to me. So I would want him, because like I said, he make you feel something.
Right.
Angel and Big Black. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Earth, Wind, and Fire's horn section. That'll do. If they're busy, we'll get like Tower of Power. I would actually want someone like Maurice White or David Foster as an MD, because there's certain people, or Quincy Jones, of course, but Quincy just, I feel like I just said goodbye to him. So to bring him back so soon, but in order to handle the full spectrum of music, someone has to have that kind of, and again, a lot of these musicians that I mentioned before also have this gift of being able to see the big picture, to command the troops while still keeping it light, but strict and stern and disciplined, but not a slave driver, no ego. Right. It's, for the best of the music, like a centurion, like the general, like somebody. So, when I've watched David Foster work, and I've watched Quincy work, and I've watched Allison Joni, I've watched all these guys. They can walk into a room, get the orchestra right, pick out a single string that's out, just like how the choir director can tell which one of y'all is messing up, right?
Right.
You need somebody who's got more of the understanding of the charts, because some of the greatest players, I do everything by ear, but a lot of the greatest players, they need the chart. you know, and if they can play something that they've never seen if they got the chart. That's a skill I've always been envious of. But, you know, by the time I got my eyes fixed, you know, I could read music, but I hear it faster than I read it, and it's just like frustrating. It's like trying to speak in a language at a fifth grade level when everybody else is like, you know, super fluent.
Would,
And I'm
would
sitting there
that
like,
bring
wait, counting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that brings me to a question that I'm not to change the subject, but I was just thinking, you just said that you played it by ear, which I knew,
Yeah.
but when you went to college,
That was the thing.
the,
That's I'm telling you how I didn't know how much of a gift I had until I got that scholarship. So I had to sight read, right? But they don't know that you're not sight reading if you memorize the page. They put you into theory classes, and you still have to learn how to read music. You still have to understand the cycle of fifths, and, you know, the fundamentals of harmony, improvisation, musicianship, and all the other things. However, I'm the kind of person where when I hear a piece, I hear the whole thing at once from top to bottom. So the sight reading for me was more about having a reference point to say, okay, this is what it looks like on the paper. But I wound up working with people who were better at that than me. The same way that, you know, I can play little keys, but I'm not going to get up on stage and give the full concert the same way that someone who plays keys their whole life. So I respect what they do better. It's like the difference between cooking at home and being, let's say, a five-star chef. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can make a great meal, but if all you do your whole life is cook, I'm going to trust that you know how to, you know, like if you run a restaurant, that's a different set of skills. So yeah, that was the thing, was like I always got along with people where we fill in each other's gaps. So like, you know, I never had to write a chart for myself. And then I wind up working with musicians where they go, oh yeah, that's, you know, just, they hear exactly what I gave them. And then the music director will write the chart out for the other musicians that get hired and fired. And I can go about my day. And if I hear anything off, I already know what it is. And sometimes I like when they play a substitution or an accidental or whatever. But, you know, I hear everything in reference to each other. And Errol Garner was like that. I don't know if you know Errol Garner, but he was another one that never wrote charts, and like he went to school and like basically his mother had trained him up, and like he went to these different conservatories, but he never really got into that aspect of things. And I have mad respect for the folks that you know, that transcribe, man, because they got apps and all those things that can do it, but they never work right, and you can't capture the feeling of it. And again, because of my vision, like I literally have a nearsighted eye and a farsighted eye. Like my visual perception is not as keen. I get lost in my own backyard. Like I forget where I put my wedding ring or where I left in my shoes. You know, I literally don't know the names of the streets in the order. I just know front, back, left, right. I memorize which way I'm driving before I get on the road because I come from before the Thomas Guide. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So the only time spatial reasoning makes sense to me is sound-wise, but visually, from a certain distance, especially with cluster chords and block chords, I'm like squinting like this. Like it makes me use some of my internal resources. It's like, you ever try multitasking versus focusing on one thing? Some people are really great
Yeah.
juggling. My thing is, I want to focus on just the story
I'm a
telling.
focuser too. Me too.
Yeah.
That's my partner said, you don't multitask very well, but when you get into something, you in it. I'm like, yeah.
So I watch a lot of videos. Like when I was in school, like I said, they made me take first year theory because I didn't study music in high school other than gospel choir, and I was competing with people who literally sight read their whole, you know, way through. But again, this is jazz voice at the time, and University of Arts is not an easy school to get into. But they had a list of requirements. So the first thing was, you know, you had to learn a classical piece. You had to learn a jazz standard. You had to send in a recording, and then you do the interviews, and then of course your test scores, your grades, and all of those things. And again, having the fundamentals was good enough to demonstrate that I was capable. I came in and played one piece that I had arranged by ear of Lift Every Voice. I had the recordings of I did Take Six, Come Unto Me, a cappella, and Route 66, Manhattan Transfer in the recording. And then I sang Where'er You Walk, which was like this Handel's, not from Handel's Messiah, but the same Handel who wrote Handel's Messiah. They had this song. And apparently I was a bass baritone in college back then, and this is before I even smoked. And I was like the second, they only picked two of us that year. And I really loved it there because I didn't like theory from the visual standpoint, but when they explain to you the relationship between the notes and there's math involved, oh, I love math. Oh, now we're talking. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just, it's another way of communicating an idea to people. And I think that more people should study music as many ways as they can. Some people, they want to copy someone's style, but they don't necessarily emulate the journey, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how Quincy used to go and sit and play with Ray Charles at little dive bars and, you know, or playing country music and other styles that they might be uncomfortable in, you know, or just Maya Angelou putting out a calypso record, you know, like you would never think that that would be part of her journey into becoming, you know, one of the most famous authors of all time, with streets named after her. If she had stopped at just being a calypso artist, she would have been, you remember that lady that opened up for Harry Belafonte? That would have been the end of her story. So it's never too late. And I'm giving myself this speech too, like, you know, when I have time on the plane, you know, I could be charting out some new music just for the fun of it. Because, you know, I haven't had to write anything other than to prove in class that you could, you know, write a melody that includes, you know, these three modes or these three, you know, whatever it may be. Like, that's more of just giving them what they ask for. But the way that I create, I would usually either sing the melody first, sing the bass line, play the chords, whatever comes to me. Sometimes I hear the whole song at once. Sometimes somebody else will come to me with something and that I feed off of that. Like, there's no one right way to do things, you know, creatively.
Yeah.
But yes, stay in school, don't be a fool, and say no to drugs, kids.
You was to my Maya Angelou. We didn't even talk about that one. The project that you did, the Cage Bird songs.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I heard how all that came to be. Tell the people, just give people a little bit of that.
Well, when I was going through a dark period, another dark period, a really dark period, and I was in a warehouse. Like I used to work in this movie studio in the warehouse, like where you're a site manager, so you live on site because you got to be the first one there. You know, they pay you, but you're like out in the middle of nowhere, right? And I was feeling like, how did I wind up in a situation like I'm making a little bit of money, but like I'm out here nowhere, uninspired, depressed, and suicidal. And there was a little cassette tape in this warehouse, and I'm like, maybe I could record a note, like a suicide note on it or something. This is where my mind was at the time. And I said, well, let me see what's on this cassette because I don't, I want to make sure I'm not recording over nothing. I don't know. And I pop it in, and it's Maya Angelou's A Brave and Startling Truth, just like a poem from an old, like, Library of Congress audiobook. But something about the tone of her voice and the things she was saying, it was like she was talking to me, like really talking to me. And it was like she grabbed me by the collar, like, young man, you have no right to complain about anything you've been through. Let me tell you my story. And I'm listening, and I'm looking through, and I had, like maybe 5 or 6 of her audiobooks, and I'm listening to her story, and I'm like, she's been through more before I was 20 than I'll ever go through in my whole life. And she turned me around, and I'd never even met her. I mean, I knew of her, like, growing up and knew who she was, but, like, for whatever reason, her work connected with me when I needed it. So I thought I would like to return the favor, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if we can reimagine her poetry as music? Now, a lot of people would sample her, or they would try to, insert her into their music. But I wondered what it would be like if she went in the studio and recorded a record. And this is way before AI or auto-tune the news. I literally went through all of her audiobooks and would, like, put music behind it and line it up. And the band that I was working with heard it, and they started playing on it. It took 7 years to get that thing green lit, man. And when I got to sit with the legendary Dr. Angelou and thank her. I thanked her just for even listening to it. I didn't think it was going to really, I didn't get into this to be famous or for it to blow up. I just thought, you know what? This is keeping me busy, keeping me healthy. It's healing to me, and I hope that maybe other people would like it. Next thing you know, on CBS News, Oprah paid for one of the videos that's still out there on, well, at the time it was the OWN Network YouTube channel. It was a limited run that went to CDs, Amazon. You can still find it out there. But these are all Dr. Angelou's poems set to music and reimagined to music. And there's a few new pieces that she did shortly before her passing. And I'm just grateful to have even been in her presence and for the standard to which she held a mirror to my life. And literally, I've never been the same, never will be the same. Because my eyes were opened to how much impact a person can have if they just don't give up.
Yeah. You know, I got a little bit of something cute. I got Still I Rise cute.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Oh, you got me on that one.
We're going to detour off the album just for a second, just to play a little, because this is a perfect segue to this song. So, you know, this is off of the Cage Bird songs, and this is Still I Rise.
You may write me down in history.
You may write me down in history.
With your bitter, twisted lies.
With your bitter, twisted lies.
You may trod me.
You may trod me
in the very dirt.
in the very dirt.
But still like dust.
But still like dust, I'll rise.
I'll rise.
Does my sassy name upset you? Why are you beset with gloom?
Why are you beset with gloom?
'Cause I walk like I've got all wells. I'm thinking I'm living wrong.
Just like the moon.
Just like moon, and like sun,
and like sun.
With the certainty, of time,
just like hope, springing high.
Still I rise.
Did you want to see me broken?
Did you want to see me broken?
Bowed head and lowered eyes.
Shoulders falling down like teardrops. Waking by my soul.
By my soulful cry.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
That gives me a little Mary Don't You Weep, Phil. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Going back to them gospel choir days.
Yes. Yeah.
Rest in power, Dr. Angelou. You will surely be missed.
Definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had some tricks up my sleeve here.
I'm sorry, you definitely, that was the first time I've heard that one play during the broadcast in a minute, because it ran for a while, and then it became like a limited edition thing, and the proceeds, or a portion of the proceeds, went towards the Cage Bird songs. They actually have a Cage Bird legacy, organization and whatnot. Shout out to Smooch Music, and shout out to the Village, because those of us that came into Dr. Angelou's life, her chosen family, and her relatives and everyone who in any way whose lives she touched, she connected us, and we have like a little village of people that we all look out for each other, and so shout out to the Dr. Angelou Village. And it's just, like I said, if no one ever heard the record, it changed my life, and I'm so glad for the person that she helped me become, in her own sweet way. Hats off. Yes, I still have hair. Hats off to Dr. Angelou.
I'm glad you do. I don't.
I'm saying, though, I'll send you some.
Please. Yeah, glue it on there. Now, if y'all want to get a copy of this, go to cagebirdsongs.com. Okay? They still have CDs on there. You can still order a CD. Mm-hmm. So go on over there and get it, and you get the whole project. You know?
And the artwork on that is actually really fantastic because a lot of her poems were turned into drawings that were done by the legendary Alan Aldridge. Alan Aldridge, you may know from, he designed everything from the House of Blues logo, Hard Rock Cafe logo. He worked with the Beatles, like the, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts. He got like Grammys for his album cover artwork. For Captain Fantastic, for Elton John. Like this guy's a living legend, and his daughter is the supermodel Lily Aldridge. There's a lot of great musicians on that record too. Many of which also contributed to that, to my album. We've been working together on all these kinds of different side projects, but it's a who's who of great musicians. And Dr. Angelou is the star. That particular song was one of the only ones that she's actually, like echoing, but the rest of the album is her voice and her voice alone. You might hear me in a harmony somewhere, or but the musicians are there to support her, which is I think incredible. And again, I can't say enough about how life-changing. Like if you ever watch an episode when Dr. Angelou was with Dave Chappelle and he walked out of there crying, that was me.
Yeah.
Like the first day I met her, she had me crying. Like I wasn't ready. And we spent time in the living room, eating Bojangles chicken, drinking sweet tea, and just talking. She would tell stories, and we let the camera run and let the dictaphone run, and she would sing songs and tell stories, and it was just like 11 hours would go by. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And thank you for shedding light on that. I really appreciate that.
Hey, my pleasure. That's what I do here. I try to bring a full circle. I know you've been on several podcasts, and I said, how can I make this a little different than the other podcasts that Shawn has been on? And so it doesn't seem so repetitive.
I always think the same thing. I'm like, what didn't I mention last time on the other one? Let me make sure I don't wear the same. Oh, I wore this hat already. Too bad. Dang it. Got to start over.
So we gonna get back to the album because we almost up to the last few songs. Let's see. We didn't play Get It Girl and man. Keep On.
Oh yeah.
And Heart of Stone. All right, let's play Get It Girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is Get It Girl. You got anything to say? You want to say about Get It Girl?
I don't know if we're short on time, but I'll give you the short version. So shout out to David P. Stevens. David P. Stevens is an amazing guitar player, artist, singer, songwriter extraordinaire. And he's been working, we've been working together on different projects, and he was working also with Phil Rico at the time, and he had some extra tracks that he's like, this might be up your alley, right? So he had sent me this track. And at first, when I first heard it, I was like, it's giving me like this, bouncy, sexy vibe, and it's a lot more, I'll say modern, like closer to the modern R&B, and I'm like, ooh, challenge accepted, right? And it was kind of a joke. When I say a joke, I thought at first that this would be the single that people who love like the as yet era might gravitate towards for today's market. You know what I'm saying? Like it was not a marketing plan, but it was just like, this feels like something As Yet would have done in a way, but I'm not trying to be like them. But I think people who love the raunchy lyrics might like this, right? But I wasn't trying to be vulgar. But then when I did the part, because the way the beat was going, I'm a kitty girl, right? When that part, I sent it to a friend that was a director, like I had the rough of it. And I said, check this out. And shout out to Ray Zadmer. I was working on this horror movie, beautiful horror movie called Guillotine. Woo! So he's like, I love the song, man, but that part where you're doing the gig, it makes me giggity. So he called it giggity, right? Just joking. And I said, you know what? That's what I'm calling it. So the original version of it is still out there. It's called Giggity. And then the remix version is Get It Girl. Same song, totally, flip the vibes and the vocals. But shout out to David P. Stevens. And I apologize to him because, he does a lot of gospel music. And I said, look, man, this is what came to me. And I understand if this might not be the song you want to brag about, because he's not responsible for the lyrics. But you know what? I appreciate him sharing his talent, and you know, we've got a lot of songs in the can and in the works together, because David P. Stevens, he is super duper talented. He's on tour right now. He's going to be in LA performing with Frank McComb. I wish I had the dates, but you know, you follow David P. Stevens and you'll see. It's a bad cat, man. He comes here to Philly too. You know, we're trying to get together and get a show in before I leave overseas. Like, just throw me up on stage. We do a cover or something. You know, just any excuse to work with him again. We there.
Well, if he comes to Philly, hit me up. Maybe I can make it down, especially if it's during the summer.
Yeah, he posted some dates, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be leaving yet, because it depends. I may be in Chicago that week shooting the video. Shout out to Fluent Radio, because they, you know, Mel and those guys. You know, we're working on a music video for Too Late. Don't Say Goodbye. But anyway, not trying to shout out the competition, but you know, the timeline of how everything lines up, and I feel like all of us have a mutual responsibility for supporting each other.
It's true.
Situation.
And you know what? And I think there's no competition between creatives. Everybody has their own little thing that they're doing, and to put it together and to work together is, you know, sublime as far as I'm concerned.
I know that's right. It's all one
even with these podcasts, you know, I don't feel like I have any competition between anybody else doing their podcast. You doing you, I'm doing me. We all have our own little niche that we do.
I know that's right. I know that's right. That's a beautiful thing. That's the way it should be. We just harmonize.
Matter of fact, Sabrina Taylor hit me up and says, "Hey, Troy, I love what you do. Why don't you come on my show on Monday nights and like be my co-host sometimes?" I said, "Hey, no problem, girl. You just let me know when you want me to be there."
Nice. Matter of fact, I may wind up on her show next week. I think I'm checking my emails. There's a lot lined up, and I'm always trying to make sure that, you know, the people who support you, you want to support them back. And this is how people get to hear the music, the good music. Because look, we all we got. Literally, we all we got.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love this, to see everyone supporting each other as best we can.
We got to. I mean, there's enough people hating on, you know, what's going on as it is. So why are we hating when we all trying to do the same thing? We all want to bring the best out and show it to the world. So,
hey, exactly.
You know, if we can work together, maybe we can get some coins out the deal, you know?
Exactly.
Some kind of way.
If we can bake bread, we can break bread.
You know? So, let's get to this. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Come on, girl.
Get it, girl. Get it. No, that's a different one.
Oh, baby. When we first met, we had a thing that was everlasting. So much the vibe. I knew we were two of a kind. One look in your eyes tells me every little thing you have in mind. Let's go somewhere private where we can unwind, 'cause I got something planned for us tonight. Gonna put it where you want it, babe. Keep it where you need it. Beat it up and need it, then I'll rinse it and repeat it, babe. Tickle it and tease it. Girl, you're undefeated. I'ma put it where you want it, babe. You're gonna put it where you want it, babe. Keep it where you need it. Beat it up and need it, then I'll rinse it and repeat it, babe. Tickle it and tease it. Girl, you're undefeated, babe. Tickle it and tease it, girl. You're undefeated. I'ma get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, girl. Get it, get it, get it, get it, girl. I'ma get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, girl. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, girl. I love it when you moan my name. Crave it when you show no shame. Make me feel some kind of way. Don't you worry about a thing, 'cause I got something planned.
Yeah. You know, we had to get one little get it in there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I say I'll be listening to it, and then when the track drops out, right? Like one of these days, right? It'll be like I have my headphones on, and I think nobody's around, and then they're like, "What is this? Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it." It's like when your thing skip.
Yeah.
You remember when Milli Vanilli got caught, right? And, and it was like, girl, you know it's, girl, you know it's, girl, you know
And
it's.
skipping, you not singing nothing.
Be like, kitty. So if I ever do a track day and the track skips, I'm gonna skip along with it because I ain't gonna be out there looking crazy. I'm like, kitty,
Right.
kitty, 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 like the remix. Nah, no, it's cool.
And everybody
Man.
like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta put a dance with it and everything. Nah, it's cool, man. I love that song because it's a feel good song. I love the transformation. I love both versions. Like that was the newest song on the record, meaning that most of the other songs are at least 10, 15 years old, 20 years old. But that one's about maybe I think it was 2021 when it was recorded. So the two closest singles together. And it's funny because I think there's at least 4 videos for this song, by the way, because the original version has a video that was produced, directed, and choreographed by Jocelyn. Now Jocelyn Barr, she's a choreographer out of Miami, and she put this whole concept together. And it's funny, it's cute, it's got a little drama to it, and that I loved it because it was when I saw the treatment and we talked about it. I thought it was a really like cute and campy way to do it. But then I took the giggity part to heart and then made another version where I synced Quagmire up, and it looks like he's singing it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing the giggity giggity, right?
Yeah.
And that one is out there on my YouTube channel too. And then the third version is a remix of the old video, but with the new audio. And then I put that one like a black and white art style. And because the song form is different at the end, there's different cuts from the original that weren't used in that. So that's version number 3. And then version number 4 was done by Rebirth Collective, which is like, I love the aesthetic that they use because they have like, kind of a slick, artsy humans, different people of all different races. Like it took it out beyond just R&B, where like you just see people from different like kind of walks of life moving smoothly with the song and a little story in there. I thought it was cool. I really like their take on it. So.
So you got
videos,
3 different three different videos on YouTube?
Yes. There's 4. I say there's Giggity one. I say Giggity is the original. Then there's Get It Girl. And then there's the Get It Girl remix video. And then there's the Rebirth Collective UK remix video. So yeah, that's 4.
Wow.
No, but sometimes it's cool because you get to imagine it in a different way. Like,
Yeah.
people like to see themselves in the video.
Yeah.
And then people may, to me, I'm like, you might have something in your head when you hear it. And if you can bring that to life, send me a video. I'll post it. You know what I mean? Like the days of just hiring one person and doing one look. Man, a lot of videos had more than one version. You remember Guapale, Closer to My Dreams?
Yeah.
There's 2 edits on that one. My daughter's actually in the first original edit. She's the little girl walking on the tree. Shout out to November Rivera. Yeah, that was her video debut in the Guapale Closer to My Dreams video. But I remember they did a second version, and I was mad. I'm like, don't take my girl out.
My baby out of there.
Yeah. But exactly.
But since you brought that up, let me ask you a question. Well, I'm gonna make a suggestion.
All right.
But when you come out with an album, it might be a good idea to change the album cover.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No, I'm kidding. Are you kidding me? First of all, this is funny that you say that because I've had people tell me, the reason why I reached out to you or I listened to the record was because I looked at it and said, this guy looks like he can sing. Right? And then on the flip side, I come from the old school where like I liked album covers that have all sorts of art and it has nothing to do with the artist. Like the artwork tells a story. So I'm totally with all that. But literally that picture that I put on the album cover, I was in front of my mother's refrigerator after doing a podcast and I just cropped it out like it was a white background and turned it in. Like what you see is what you get. I actually look like the picture. See what I'm saying? For better, for worse. There was literally no style that was what I was wearing that day, And I think the authenticity, I guess, connected with people. But yeah, the vinyl's definitely going to have different artwork, I'm sure, But
Okay.
that's the face I'm going to be making. Now I'll just put it back in my head.
At first I said, I don't know if I should say that, but I'm like,
No,
I hope you understand. You know,
like,
or you can say, hell no, I ain't changing shit. Or you can say,
nah, I'm not a control freak. I take it all in stride because, like I said, I feel like music belongs to everybody. And the thing that sucks is when people want you to look and sound like what they think the music should sound like, the minute they see a face, they're going to assume because they haven't heard nothing yet. And I don't look like what I've been through, so it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just like I said, it was my first self-titled album called Shawn Rivera, and I thought, well, here's the guy. There you go.
here I am.
Exactly. Here I'm yes.
I mean, it's not a bad picture, but I think you can have a better picture.
I can always
With
have
bigger
a better
lettering
picture. I
on
don't know, makeup. You can see every pore on my nose, skin's peeling. You know what I'm saying? Dude,
With the lettering a
on
little
every
bigger.
follicle. I took it on an iPhone. What you want, man? Shoot. No, seriously though, I don't even want any picture without me on it would be a better picture because then they could think about the music and then they'd be like, "What does this guy look like?" And then when they see the picture, they go, "Oh, never mind. Now I see why they didn't put him on the cover." So you should put a sexy broad on there. You know, like that sells records.
Do the Ohio Players. Remember?
You know what though?
The
concept. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It paints a picture of what you're going to get on that record. So I'm actually with you, man. It's going to take a lot more than that to offend me.
Well, let's play a little Keep On.
Oh yeah. So
You know, I love this song right here too. Man,
Yeah,
this whole
so-
album is just bad from the beginning to end. You can just like Prince said, put the needle on the record and let the whole thing play. You know, there's no bum tracks on here. You know, you did your thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Y'all did your thing. Everybody that was involved with this project really worked it out.
I know I probably left somebody out here or there, but I didn't mean to do it because we always get more help than we think when things go well, and then we forget about it until things go bad. So I don't want to be that dude. If I forgot your name, it was an error of the head and not the heart. Now with Keep On, this is a song that came about in the most unusual way. I was on the mountain, the Everest Base Camp. If you've ever seen footage of Mount Everest, Everest Base Camp is a 2-week journey to reach the bottom of the base of the mountain, which is still at a dangerously high 5,341 meters. It's cloud level. You breathing slow, people die. It's not for the faint of heart. Yes, a lot of people younger and older make it, but deaths happen every year. And I had a little beat going in my head the whole time. It wouldn't leave me. And I was thinking about staying alive, literally. And you know how staying alive has a dum, 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 and mine is dum, 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 dum. And then there's a part in the verse where it says, "It's a miracle we even staying alive." Like I was giving a throwback to what inspired the song, which was, if I make it out of here alive, basically, I got to keep on moving on or I'm not going to make it out of here alive. And I was thinking about my mother, like there's a line where it's talking about my mom told me, like every time I wanted to give up and I was going through some things, I didn't have any way to record the song. So there's a video on my Instagram and it's on YouTube. It's another song that has more than one video, but the original video, I had my phone as the camera and a metronome on like GarageBand on my phone, and I had lyrics that I wrote and no track, and I'm lip singing the lyrics to the metronome, and then I went back and made the song around that and then synced up the video to the finished song. So I don't think anybody has ever really shot a music video up there because the logistics would be incredibly difficult. But it's the most challenging home movie I've ever made.
I've seen that video and I was like, where in the world he's skiing somewhere? Where's he?
Yeah, it's Everest Base Camp. Shout out to the the Malaysian backpackers. There's a whole crew of people, and like, let's say 13 of us went up and only 4 of us made it back. I mean, the others didn't die. They got helicoptered
I
up the
was like, what
mountain or
the?
left early. You had to ride down on horseback. There ain't no roads. There's no electricity in a lot of these places. Like it's a rural mountainside with the Sherpas and everything. But these people were the salt of the earth. It's just a wonderful experience that I recommend to anybody who likes sub-zero temperatures. I did not know it wasn't
That ain't
going to
gonna be
be a
me.
casual hike, but I enjoy it. I made the most of the trip, that's for sure. But the song itself, that one again, I came up with the original music, and I can't wait to hear how the band would play it, because I actually, if you listen to the old version, it's still out there. You know, I did my best with MIDI to make it sound as close as I could, and then the remix it was giving a little more liveliness. So I'm really thankful to have pulled that one off. And we're still keeping on.
That's what I'm talking about. This is keep on, y'all.
Keep on, gotta keep moving on. Yeah. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, gotta keep moving on. Sick and tired of the negative attitudes bringing me down. You can try to discourage me, but I keep coming back around. You can cry, but it ain't my fault. The whole world's falling apart. You can lie, but you gon' get caught, cause you know you was wrong in your heart. But if you believe, anything you do, achieve, will contribute to your dream. When I was young and naive, my mama told me, yeah, if you can't change it, then stop your complaining. Baby, cause life won't give unless you take it. So just be patient and stay dedicated. Cause life ain't never what you make it. So don't waste it. Keep on keeping on. Gotta keep moving on. Keep moving on. Keep on keeping on. Gotta keep moving on. Keep moving on. Keep on keeping on. Gotta keep moving on. Keep moving on. Keep on keeping on. Gotta keep moving on. If you give up when the game gets rough, you're gonna get left behind. You must trust that you're good enough. Ignore the doubt in your mind. If you fight for what you
Yeah, that could be a single right there.
Oh yeah, man! I've had fun with this one. If you go on my page, I'll say every few days, right? I'll come across a video of silly dancing, or I have one with the Golden Girls dancing to it, one with the Star Wars stormtroopers dancing to it for May the 4th. Like it lends itself to break dancing, river dancing. For whatever reason, a lot of songs are in a similar tempo, and I'm like, oh, let me remix. And then we just dropped a video. I'll just put it like this. Every video could be the official video. It's whichever one takes off. Because whatever your favorite version is, that's the official one. Like that's how we roll. And I think that's a lot of the reason why this album caught on in an unexpected way, because the algorithm saw all these reels being reposted with the same song. And most people, they think to sell a song, you tell everybody, hey, I got a record out, go and listen, go and buy it. My friend said it was cool, right? And that's always good. But I think when they can see how the music fits in their lives, or you already got them smiling and it's not even about the song, like the song is in the background and the content is, entertaining, then they go, oh man, that's a dope song. Maybe I'll use it in a reel or use it for my workout music or whatever it may be. So I think there are some advantages to like guerrilla marketing, if you will.
Yeah.
And that this was personally for me, that the song was an achievement to even get done. And I'd never written a song backwards like that, where it's like I had everything but the music and shot the video before I even had the music.
That's incredible right there.
Yeah, man.
Man, And you freezing your behind off too. To top it off, it wasn't like you was in some studio or something.
They
You on
didn't
top of a
warn
daggone
us.
mountain.
See,
Huh?
that was the thing. So they didn't. Well, I'll put it like this, right? The people who say it's easy are people who climb mountains for a living. They're like, oh, the base camp trek, that's nothing. Two weeks of unpaved roads and crapping in a yak pit. No problem. You literally, clouds are passing and the sun is bouncing off the ground, so you're getting sunburnt in the freezing cold. Your water bottle freezes up. You have to sleep with your water against your body, or else you won't be able to. The toilet, you'll be drinking toilet water. It's not for the faint of heart. It is not a luxury trip, but I'm thankful to have made it, and it was like a gift from my ex-wife at the time. I had no idea it was going to be that grueling, and that's kind of how life is. If we knew how grueling life would be, we probably wouldn't sign up. But now that we're in it and we're getting through it, I have no regrets, and I'm glad to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes the best things are the unexpected.
Now, we talked earlier, we talked offline also about this. Well, it was Viva Mas. Now it's, let's see.
Rico.
Right.
Yes,
Philadelphia and Puerto Rico
Yes, indeed.
put together.
So those who have been following along in this journey, I've been recording with a group from Philadelphia who was formerly known as Viva Mas. These guys have been a group for decades before me. They actually paralleled As Yet's journey, meaning, five, at the time it was 4 and then 5 cats from Philly who got signed and, singing R&B, and Latin music. So they're like the Puerto Rican version of As Yet. And that's actually what Kenny Terry said. He was like, oh, you got a Puerto Rican version of As Yet, right? But the thing is, they were their own group. They were doing Boys to Men songs, acapellas. They're singing, opening up for like World Cup games and singing for the Pope. Like, these guys are really phenomenal, with or without me. But when they approached me a few years back, before the pandemic, I had been following them online, and they sent me like clips of them singing. But one day, one of the guys in the group, shout out to Eddie Garcia, he sent me a message. He said, hey, look, man, I'd love for you to produce an a cappella for us, right? So that's how we met. We were just kind of recording with them as a producer. But then when I'm spending time around these guys, and I realized, you know what? For the first time in a long time, I feel like I've got a group of brothers and friends. Like, they're all stand-up family men, good people. I would trust my kids with them. We have so much fun together. Even if we weren't musicians, I'd kick it with these guys. And not because they're Puerto Rican or because they're from my neighborhood, but we just seem to have a great chemistry, a natural friendship that was always there from day one. And I said, hey, how would you guys feel about having a 5th member? And I wound up, joining at that time Viva Mas. And thing is, if you look online, you'll find we got acapellas, some videos, remakes of cover songs, and all sorts of great stuff. And they have their own journey. We were both signed to DreamWorks at the same time when As Yet left LaFace, and we were signed to DreamWorks. They were a version of the group called VP215, which became Viva Mas. So now, Viva Mas, I say, due to potential conflicts over the name, has returned to their original trademark, which is Philarico. Philadelphia means Puerto Rico. And we have a new single out. It's called Isla del Encanto. You can follow the Philarico page. You can find it on YouTube. Hopefully by the time you see it, I will have debuted it, but it's already in the can and edited. And the single Isla del Encanto is out right now on Spotify, Instagram, and other platforms. It's a combination that you probably never heard before. Philly Puerto Ricans bringing you R&B, Latin, hip-hop flavored. Like, it captures a lot of the essence of what it's like being a Philarican, and the story inside the lyrics is basically celebrating the diversity of cultures that go into being Puerto Rican, celebrating. If you hear us in the background chanting Blanco, Roja y Negro, black, white, and red, everyone together, and the heritage and the culture in a way that hasn't been done before. I'm really proud of what we've managed to achieve in the years that we've been together, and I'm so proud of these guys. Look forward to more from Philarico soon.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're going to play the single.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Y'all check this
Got
out.
it.
Check it out.
Como me encanta Isabela, al sol de la playa y la arena, bailando en la boca y pelas, así como te mueves, boriqueña. I never knew what love was until I saw her sunset, was crashing on the shoreline. I knew I had to make her mine. Electron, el arroz y ma vida, tan sabrosa, her flavor set me free. Take me back to the place of my dreams. Following con la isla del encanto. Como me encanta Isabela, a son de la playa y la arena, bailando bugalupo, baipela, así como te mueves, boriqueña. Yo soy boricua pa' que tú lo sepas, déjame verte ondear tus banderas. Yo soy boricua pa' que tú lo sepas, déjame verte ondear tus banderas. I see pain in her eyes from all the storms she's been through. Off from my heart in sunrise, oro para que Dios me bendiga. Con Isabela yo bailo tu rumba, besa a Carolina bajo la lluvia. Las manos
Yeah.
bañan en colera.
And it's a crazy one, man. It goes hard. It goes hard.
Yes.
Yeah, we shot the video in Philly, and I included some footage from the island as well. And you get a definitely every member is their own character. You know what I'm saying? And like I really love these guys, and they're just stand-up people, but also fun to watch. And everybody got their voices. Like if you want to hear us harmonize, you know, we got that Overjoyed out there. If you want to hear, you know, ballads, you want to hear Spanish music, you can find all different flavors from these guys. And I think that we're finally in a position to curate an album. And I think this theme keeps coming around, you know, like when you get to a certain age and you've gathered all this great music, and trying to curate it into a cohesive collection. That's been the biggest challenge. Young artists don't have that problem. They're just, you know, recording. But if you're trying to tell a complete story and show the best of what you have to offer, but without being so all over the place that it doesn't make sense, and trying to reach a core audience and grow outward, you have to start at home base. And that's why, you know, I think that Philarico is destined to be amongst the greats, for sure.
Yeah. Man, you are busy.
I'm saying though.
But it's all good. It's all good. Yo, we got one more song. And I just got to say thank you for coming out here, man. Thank you. This has been a pleasure. I know you said, wow, we've been on here for almost 3 hours. The
Don't
only
feel
one
like
that's
it's
been
me.
this, right? It don't. You know? It seemed like the last podcast I had this long was like B. Slade. B.
Oh,
Slade
you know
and
what?
I.
He's a beast vocally, boy. B. Slade.
Yes, he is.
He actually did some stuff with Azjet. It came and went, but it was really good. If you remember Kleptomaniac, now he's a dope. I remember back when he was Tone. You know,
Yeah.
he's a bad cat. A super
he
dope
is.
producer too.
Yeah, just bad. He don't make any sense. So for us, you know, for him to converse with me for 3 hours, I'm like, boy, we could talk.
Now,
So
he's just so I say overqualified. So
Yeah.
I get it. See, the thing is, you have a certain let's say je ne sais quoi for the music, and that it makes this feel like a natural conversation. You know, like we just kicking it, just talking about the records and whatnot. So I suspect that the next time we do run into each other anywhere in life, we would probably have a whole nother conversation about, did you see what happened with so and so, and what did you think of this record? You know, like,
Yeah.
for real, man, for real. I appreciate you having me on and taking the time, because I don't even know how you found my record, because I didn't put no ads out. I ain't got no ads out or nothing. And I said, this brother did a whole review on me. I was just like, wow, man, you know. Just
Well, I told you it was what's her name? Lorena.
Oh yeah, Lorena PR. Shout out. Okay, I just wanted to make
Was
sure
it Total R&B?
Yeah, Lorena.
Total R&B.
She's awesome. Yes.
So
shout out to Total R&B.
I caught a clip of her and I was like, wait a second, all right, let me see what this is about.
And I appreciate her doing that, because, you know, I can't afford her. She's a PR. You know, like if I had money for an agent, that's who I would hire. You know, somebody who actually loves what they do, and she's really keen, sharp with it, and I can't say enough good things. So we were just talking about having a cohesive record, and this last song is meant to end off the record, but also end off a chapter in the story of the relationship that started out with, have you had some good love lately? Then we spend the whole middle of the record giving you all that good love, you know, and then you're at the point where
All
it's
at the
like,
favorite
okay, I'm
lips.
sick and tired of the negative. I got to keep on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tried to save it, but you know, it couldn't be helped. And this song, shout out to John Cody. Now, John Cody is a hip hop artist. He's a rapper. The last person you would think of who would be collaborating on this ballad. But he's the one, he had brought the original skeleton, I guess you would call it, like the foundation of, like, he had a beat and like the chords, like the basic kind of, just enough to inspire me, which is all I needed. And like, when I heard it, he's like, yo, I got this idea for a ballad. And I'm like, really? Because this dude is, you know, he's a serious rapper. Like, I did not picture him making this beautiful ballad. But when I heard the music that he brought me, I said, man, again, I was in a state of mind. I wrote the song. There's the recording of it. The original recording is probably going to wind up on the vinyl. But this song is probably going to be the song I end off the concerts with, because of the way it ends. When you hear the album, you'll understand why. And if you put the album on loop, after the fade out, it comes right back in, and you might not think that it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the perfect end to a perfect interview. To say goodbye. I know it hurts, but I got my pride. Don't cry. I know you won't, because your heart is dry. No, I laugh to keep from crying.
Yo,
shout out to John Cody and Double G's Illicow. Shout out to my wife, you know, Erica Rivera, or as I call her, Erica Rivera. My heart, my love. And shout out to BAAS. Shout out to Troy Saunders. Shout out to Rebirth Collective. Shout out to Fillerico. Shout out to the Maya Angelou Village. Shout out to all the contributors on this record whose names I may have forgotten, but you're in my heart. And thank you for everybody who spun, played, listened, and shared. Please go to my YouTube channel, because I'm only like 100 subscribers short of being monetized. That way I can bring you another album, and it won't take me 30 years again, I promise.
Go on over there, yo. Go over to Shawn Rivera's YouTube channel and subscribe. And download the album. And check out the videos. And go to Fillerico. Download that too. And go over to Cageberry Songs and purchase that. You know? And tell people about BAAS Entertainment Podcast. Go over to my site. Go over to www.BAAS entertainment.com. We got like 148 episodes. Some of the people that Shawn talked about have been on the BAAS Entertainment Podcast, like David P. Stevens and Mesa and Frank McComb. You know, we sat down. I've sat down and chatted with all of them. So if you want some more great conversations, right now I just started video video podcasts within the past month. So the other ones are all audio. So, you know, you can go over there and listen to it on Spotify or iHeartRadio or wherever, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. Just type in BAAS Entertainment and you'll see that logo and just press it. And there you are. You get all episodes. Or just go to the website. They're all on the website also. So I'm glad you hung out with us for the past 3 hours. You know,
I
hope you
finished.
Right? I'm surprised my mouth is. I drank all my water. I'm like, you know, almost dehydrated now.
We're gonna break this up into a multi-part series now. Okay.
Right. I might just do that. Who knows? But I don't think so. I'm just gonna.
It's all good. I trust you. I trust that you're gonna do your best to isolate every awkward moment and amplify it. Thank you in advance.
That's what we do.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, but
Shawn,
seriously, this has been a blast, man. A blast.
The pleasure's mine. Thank you for coming on. And you know, don't be a stranger. You know, you got my info. Hit me up. Let me know when the shows are coming up. Sorry, say it again.
I said I couldn't be any stranger, but I got your info.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. I'm delirious. It's past my bedtime.
Me too. I'm usually in bed like 9:30. I got to be up at 5 o'clock.
Same here. Time to make the donuts.
Right.
Cook the breakfast.
We did all the stuff that we're going to say. I'm going to say until we have a next podcast episode, please, let's continue to love one another. Let's continue to uplift one another. Let's continue to bring good music to the forefront. You know, there's so much good music out there. You just got to know where to find it. And if you're here, you're at the right place at BAAS Entertainment. All right. We're going to end this with Shawn's last song on the album, Heart of Stone. Goodbye. Peace and love, y'all.
Every time we make, every time I take one more step closer to your love you bring, and I try to hide what I know is right. It cuts me like a knife. Time to say goodbye. I know it hurts, but I got my pride. Don't cry. I know you won't, 'cause you're cold as ice. I try to make it work, but now it's gone. Don't cry. I can't break your heart of stone. From the day we met, you were so upset. Past relationships left you with regret. So I took my time, tried to realize what it was that made you too scared to let me in your life. You tried to be spontaneous, but always felt rehearsed. You never said I love you unless I said it first. I thought that I could change you into someone else, but you could never love me, 'cause you don't even love yourself. So I gotta say, oh, don't let another good man pass you by. Don't cry. I know you won't, 'cause your heart is